So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you guys are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you guys found me, and I do hope that this reading resonates for you guys. If you do not find a message here for you, then please take a look at my playlist, and all my readings are timeless, so there might be something that is more resonating for you at this time. And for those of you guys who are returning, I'm so blessed, so grateful to be here. I can't wait to get into your reading, and I hope that this reading resonates for you guys as well. You guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading, we'll be using these decks right here. I will put a link to my deck reveal playlist for those of you guys who are interested in energetically charging these cards for future readings. And maybe you're just a collector of the tarot or the oracle cards, so you can go take a look at that if you're interested. And this will be a pick a card reading. And we'll be asking Spirit to provide some guidance and advice for your relationship. Okay, now it's up to you to determine which relationship you're coming here about. A lot of times the viewers here come through as a deep spiritual soul connection that they're having with an individual. And so this energy might pull through from that lens, okay? If that is how it pulls through and it's not resonating with your current love situation or relationship, then it might not necessarily be your reading, okay? So take the message in that pile only if it resonates for you. Please keep in mind that no tarot is ever telling you what you have to do. I am channeling what it is that Spirit is suggesting you do. So if you are on a spiritual journey, if there's a karmic lesson of sorts, if there is something here being called to see and work with, this is what pulls through this, okay? It's not Linda's advice. It's not my opinion. It's not something you can consider if it's going to work. It's like, if it's your message, it's telling you exactly what it's trying to show you through your suffering, through the challenge, through the mirror of the divine. Okay, now, of course, if it doesn't resonate, then it's not your message and it's not asking you to do anything of that sort. But if you do resonate with what I channel in regards to the connection that I'll first tap into, if that does sound like your connection, then whatever pulls through there is the guidance and the advice that you're being called to look at this time. But it's up to you whether you want to implement it, embody it, sit with it, do what you want with it. Okay, only you can sort of integrate that or understand that without force. Okay, so like I always say, if it's not your reading, it's for someone else. If you don't resonate with it, then go to another pile. There's no need to sit there and make it fit. Then that's just not your reading. Okay, and it's okay to not resonate with any of the piles. These could be very highly spiritual readings. So it's not necessarily everyone's story, and that's fine. That's not why I'm here. Okay, so beautiful angels, I'm going to remove the decks that I'm not using for the pick an option, and then we'll also get into the Clairaudient part. So if you are more comfortable picking with sound, I do apologize, the sound comes through very faint because my microphone is sort of sound canceling, and you might have to turn your volume up in order to capture the sound, but I do feel that is the direction in which I want to take my pick a cards towards for those of you guys who are developing your Clairaudient gifts. Okay, so I will see you guys at the deck selection. All right, option number 1. You guys are looking at the Thought Tarot deck. Option number 2, Ancestral Path Tarot. Option number 3, the Storyteller's Tarot. and then we'll get into the sounds for these three shortly. I'll be right back. Option number 1, here's your sound. Option number 2, here's your sound. Option number 3, here is your sound. So sit with these 3 options, and if you feel stuck, close your eyes, open your eyes, whichever one feels right to you. When you open your eyes, the first one you're called to or pulled to will most likely be your pile, and I will see you guys at your pick. Pile number 1, you guys pick the Thought Tarot. And we're looking at guidance advice on your current relationship. Okay, and I do suggest you go listen to the intro. This is me channeling information based on exactly as Spirit pulls through here. Okay, this isn't Linda's guidance or advice. This is exactly just channeling what the information is here. Now, you don't have to take it. It's not necessarily your message just because you clicked here. Okay, it could be one sort of thing you're needing to know. But my intention is that whatever relationship you come here about is the one we've tapped into. So in order to know that this is your pile, we're going to tap into what's going on in your connection. Okay, and see sort of maybe where the issue is or whatever it is that's coming through here as the thing that's the obstacle or what you're being called to see or understand. Okay, if it doesn't resonate, then it's not in your level of understanding or consciousness, meaning it's not your story for someone else. So just keep an open mind as to what does pull through here, but don't force it to be your story. Okay, so spirits for pile 1, can we first look at what is going on in their connection, their relationship that they're having to look at here? What is going on in the connection between pile 1 and the connection in which they came here about? What is the challenge? But what is the energy so that pile 1 will understand that this is indeed their reading, the connection that they came here about? Okay. Heard rooster really loud. So rooster for me is Aries energy. It could be divine masculine energy, and it could symbolize ego. Okay. So let's take a look. Who do we have? We have the Four of Wands, and it says completion. I don't read bottom of the deck reverse. That's why I flipped it around. So we're going to pull one of these and one of these, or however many want to come through, but 2 oracle decks before I channel. Okay, so 4 of Wands symbolizes the 1111 card for me. Could talk about a twin flame journey. Okay, the positive of the 4 of Wands is celebration, union, coming together, community. It could be an event where we're like a milestone event where we're celebrating, we're entering the next chapter. Okay, but it could be a fleeting moment, you know. Doesn't talk about, it's kind of like the wedding. It doesn't talk about the marriage, you know, but it is about stability coming together. It could be even masculine, feminine balancing. Okay. So we have the Sun and Mercury. So Sun is that rooster energy. Okay, because it is divine masculine. And then Mercury is all about communication, mind, clear thinking, clear thought, clear expression. 2 is all about this sort of masculine, feminine duality, choices, balance, partnership, polarity, and contrast. Okay, so we have Leo, Virgo, Gemini coming through your reading. And then we have forgiveness, which is this Matthew 18:22. So 90 and 9, forgiveness, admitting fault, active mercy, clemency, apologies, gracefulness, and reconciliation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Happy event, which is this 4 Wands, growth level. So we have Cancer, Virgo, more Virgo energy, solar plexus energy. All right, 9s are all about fruition, completion, fulfillment. 9s are about closure, service to humanity, wisdom. All right, then we have 101 with another 2 here. So free love, independent love, emancipated love, liberated love, sovereign love, multiple loves, autonomous love. Type 2, the helper, emotional center between giving and receiving. And we see a gentleman here with 2 ladies. Okay. All right, so 2 is Pisces, Libra energy. But again, it's about the balance, duality, and choices. 4 is definitely about balance as well. 4 is the number of the Emperor, which we were really feeling with the rooster and with the Sun. So that's a lot of masculine energy. All right, so we have the Prince of Cups. This is the Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups. Sitting with the energy. Okay. And then we have the Priestess, which is the High Priestess in the reverse. Lots of Pisces energy that's pulling through your reading. Intuition. Okay, Priestess in reverse. Keep going. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse. Oh, wow. So the High Priestess can talk about a divinely guided relationship. Same with Temperance. Okay, and same with this Wheel of Fortune. Something destined. Okay, but we have this in reverse and this in reverse. Okay, and then we have the 8 of Swords. Wow, which talks about the reversals here. 8 of Swords is where we feel stuck, essentially, okay? But we're not necessarily stuck, but we feel stuck because we have some belief, some understanding with the swords. This is this Mercury energy that creates the appearance of us having no move, okay? But 8s are ultimately the number of movement, change, attainment, okay? So this is, the universe asks us to move, but in order to move, we have to understand some sort of mental block here, some belief that there limits the movement that we're not seeing yet or understanding clearly. And so there could be a distortion here. I'm thinking I'm feeling your person's energy here, okay? Of course, you could flip it if it's your own. And then the Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, heavy Virgo coming through. All right. I'm feeling strong Capricorn from this Queen of Pentacles. I do believe the Queen of Pentacles represents Capricorn. Okay. I mean, it's all the earth signs when I channel, but in this deck, it's all Capricorn. So Capricorn's coming through strong. And Capricorn is symbolized by the devil. Okay, so the devil energy pulls through here as well. Okay, and then we have the Judgment. And it is in reverse. It's called the Aeon. Okay, Judgment could be sort of like a second coming or a rebirth here. We had reconciliation. No, this is in reverse. Okay, let me sit here with this energy and then channel. Under 4 wands, we have the 8 of Cups, and it's in reverse. And it says indolence, another 8. So 88 is a master number, a higher calling that is grounded in self-awareness. That's the Sun in Mercury. Okay, Queen of Pentacles, very grounded, self-awareness, and reverence for life. Okay. I'll get the wand so I can channel what this is and get into your reading. Or 8 of Cups. I don't know if I said 8 of Wands. 8 of Cups. 4 Wands. Completion. Yeah, even a circle here. Interesting. And look at the Aries coming through with the ram head. And then we have the dove. And well, I don't know. It looks like a dove. It could be a swift, but the dove is giving me this apologies, reconciliation, gracefulness. Okay, act of mercy with the dove. Okay. All right, just let me sit here with the bit. You can skip ahead. Okay, pile number 1, interesting reading. I think I'm getting it from your perspective of an understanding here, because we did ask what's going on in your connection so that you understand this is for you. Okay, of course you could flip the energy if you're on the other side, but I'm going to read it like this. I do feel like you are a beautiful Queen of Pentacles. Okay, and if you're not a Queen of Pentacles just yet, I think what Spirit is wanting you to understand is your Queen of Pentacles energy that you could be cultivating here. But let me tap into what you're challenged with here. Is I do feel a divine masculine energy, regardless of gender. And I think what you see is a divine masculine energy, which has a lot of love. It doesn't, you're not questioning so much, is there love there? Is there true feelings there? It's like there is true feelings there, but what we don't understand at this point in time is that how could someone who feels the amount of love that they feel and tap into this place that you're familiar with, okay, because I'm sure this is how you're feeling about this person, and understand how it is that this person acts towards this connection, because I feel like this person has some form of inability to commit to you in a way that is the same language you use to commit to someone and create a union. It's like, if I love someone, if I want to connect with someone, then I give myself to that person and we build a future and we move on to create something together, and it's understood on both sides. And then we promise to build a future. Sounds very good in theory. Okay. This is, and I'm getting into some of the advice here, but this is a very lower state of conscious love. Now, it's how 99% of the people express love. It's like, I need something from someone and they complete me, or they fulfill me with this transaction I need, and then I do the same for them. This is an understanding that we carry. And this understanding that we carry is socially acceptable. It's how we've been brought up to see and understand love. But this isn't love in the highest level. Now, I'm talking about agape love, and you say, well, agape love is for everyone. But remember I said I read for spiritual connections. This lesson, this divine guidance, is trying to show you how to love through agape love. Because if we don't love through agape love, Have we ever loved in the truest form of love? No. We loved out of fear, clinginess, attachment, transaction, and a lower state of conscious love. And this isn't about low states of conscious love. This is about a higher state of love, agape love. Okay, so this is sort of why this is coming through. But you're experiencing with a person here that's giving you a challenge. This challenge is that of the divine universe. The universe is putting you together with a polar opposite understanding here. Okay, a polar opposite understanding. Now, we know in spirituality, there's no wrong and right. There's just neutral things that happen and manifest in the universe. It's what we apply to it. We either say it's good, bad, this or that, and we label it as such. Okay, so this person is what they are. Okay, now, but this person, the person you're dealing with, carries all sorts of understandings as well of an 8 swords, just like you carry an understanding of an 8 swords. Now, it doesn't matter if 99% of the society thinks the way you do. It's still an 8 swords because it's not true. Love does not have any expectations. Love does not project into the future. Love is in the present moment. The future is never promised. We don't know that the future is here, We don't know if the future is going to unroll. I can say, well, that's a very silly way to look at it. It's like, no, we could certainly be all we can be in this present moment to secure ourselves, but we cannot base love based on what it's going to look like in the future. So nobody can promise you a future. Nobody can do any of that stuff. So let's go back to this experience you're having. I feel like you're having an experience with a divine masculine energy here, despite gender, who has an understanding for them what feels like safe love. What feels like safe love is keeping things very open. This is going against their intuition and their lesson of what they're being called to do, to trust, to connect in the moment, and remove this 8 swords, which is always stemmed by some sort of understanding, which could be heavily charged with fears based around it. Okay, fears based around it, because it's like the distortion here is my understanding of something that gives it life. It creates this thing in my mind. And if I were to dissolve that thing or act against it without dissolving that thing, then I'm fearing something that isn't necessarily real. Fearing the loss of my freedom. I'm fearing being controlled. I'm fearing all sorts of things that sit in the 8 swords that aren't necessarily true. And so I feel this person has a distorted understanding of what it means to love and be free and still maintain their sovereign independence. And this is creating a challenge. And so both you and your person here are having to work through your 8 swords of understanding of love and how you show and express love and when it is able to be expressed and how it's able to be expressed. Because if we have any condition, then it's not love. This does not mean that we put up with less than situations. We stick around and settle. This is just talking about the lesson of agape love. How is the difference, and do we know the difference, and do we see the difference? This is what this connection is about. This connection isn't necessarily about having babies, being happily ever after. This is a lesson of agape love, how we show and express love, and resolving our beliefs when it comes to love and our limitations that we carry that we don't realize are actually distortions that limit our ability to experience true love. Okay, now I just say love because it is the true definition of love. And everything else is fear, construct, beliefs, distortions, transaction, lower states of consciousness. So I feel like there is understandings we're really having to see clearly. Okay, Sun talks about an enlightened journey of sorts. It could talk about a divinely guided relationship. This high priestess, divinely guided relationship. This wheel of fortune, a fated relationship. Okay, so what is this? You can even say the karma of the universe is having me see and understand something about how I express and give love and what are the parameters around this thing. And so the base root of loving is really about it being able to come from a selfless place, from a place where we're not sort of seeing or understanding, and feeding that understanding as though it's true, because remember, it's an 8 swords, but it doesn't matter how long I've believed it. I could have believed it all my life. That commitment looks a certain way, that if this person wants to come correctly, then this is what correct means. It's a label that's coming from a solar plexus, that's coming from the ego, and it's not coming from a place of God, because the ego is the devil, which means it's the distortion, it's the chain to that limited lower state of consciousness. It binds me and it holds me hostage. And so if I need to transcend beyond the ego, the devil, the thought pattern, the limitation, then I must see through it clearly, this mind pattern. And so I feel like you're being called to work through this understanding, and it does come with a lot of forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness for maybe how we've seen things. Now, it's no one's fault so much, because when we see clearly, there is no need to forgive anymore. Because who's the thing that was at fault? The form did something. The ego did something. But the ego is unconscious. The ego just acts. So the form did something to another form. There is no need for forgiveness there. When we transcend beyond and we know we're not the form, now we've connected to the truth, our essence here, and we're at a higher state of consciousness, we see that in other, and that in other, that one state of consciousness that's behind the form and the ego, is not the thing that created the act that we need to forgive. And so forgiveness comes as a result of seeing clearly. It's not something that we choose. How am I going to choose to forgive this person? So you might be, with the challenge you're experiencing, kind of in two worlds. You're maybe wanting some form of a reconciliation or forgiveness or move beyond this, but it's like I can't get beyond this understanding that I have. And so I cannot really extend forgiveness when I hold a truth, my perceived truth, my understanding of maybe where you say your value is, or your understanding of what your deal breakers are, or non-negotiables, or a deep sense of something here that feels like it'll be violated, And this does not say that your person has to go run rampant with a whole slew of people. In fact, most likely this person is not the type of person that's going to be out just running rampant with a whole bunch of slew of people. Now, that's a whole other reading and a whole other thing here if they are. Okay, but what the main message here is, because even if they are, the main message here is the wounded egoic self that has an understanding that isn't necessarily based in love, but out of fear and limitation, that makes one act in a certain way, that fears the opposite of how one truly expresses love at all costs. And so when the ego has a stronghold of that belief, it kicks and screams, and it doesn't want to let go of that understanding, no matter how much pain and suffering it brings to the person. Okay? And so this is why the universe is here to say we're working through these distorted beliefs and these understandings so we could be free to love at the highest level of agape love. But we have to see through our own distortions, and we have to get there sort of through an experience. Okay? And so, and it isn't about, because if we start seeing it in a black and white way, such as, if this person loved me more, then they would choose me over this thing. It's like, no, it's like the ego fighting to survive. If this person, let's say, was like literally drowning in a pool, this person is like dying because they're drowning. It doesn't matter all the beautiful things that could be out there, beautiful women, big bags of money, beautiful homes, beautiful cars. If this person is drowning, they're going to grab whatever, including, babies, whatever, to pull itself up. That's how the ego is. So it's not a conscious choice. Oh, I love this person more, let me just let go of this thing. It's like, no, the ego is hanging on to its understanding that's distorted. about what love means and my freedom. And then I could have all sorts of distortions about being autonomous, sovereign, independent. So this it doesn't show me, but usually this stems from an enmeshed parent, someone who's experienced abandonment. Okay, we have the root chakra here. And so there's abandonment wound that I experienced that creates this understanding I have and the root of who I think I am. And it creates this protective way of engagement, and nobody can get in because this is the raw child underneath that's experienced pain and suffering. And so there's no way that this person would want to experience abandonment and expose themselves to this vulnerability. So they have to work through their abandonment wounds. I have a feeling, because we're channeling you, there's abandonment wounds here. There's an understanding of when it means when someone's committed to me or building with me and engaging with somebody that isn't sort of understanding this, creates this abandonment wound in me, or this understanding that makes me feel unstable, unregulated. So I feel this connection stuck. I feel like spirit has been trying to guide you through your intuition. I feel like you still have beliefs here that are very limiting. That comes to your own personal journey, nothing to do with whether you accept this person's whatever ways, because definitely it's also distorted and shadowed. So how these connections work, if there is this indicator to me, this wheel of fortune, this high priestess, and this sun energy that's coming through, and the fact that you're at my channel, and we have this 1111, which is talking about twin flames, and this 2, which for me is talking about a mirrored connection. All of this stuff to me talks about you and this person having a very divine connection energetically, spiritually. And when you transcend your energy, when you rise above a greater state of consciousness and see through your 8th sword understanding, or your limited consciousness of how you see love, your person will rise with you or fall away. And I feel they'll rise with you because I do feel there is something very tied here, very connected. Okay, now if they fall away, it's okay because we've healed the thing and it's not devastating. It's not this push-pull energy. Okay, now if they rise up, and then we're both loving from a higher state of consciousness because we've learned the lesson and we could see each other for the first time, not through neediness, not through you complete me in some way because I'm not whole, but I found my value because I've worked through my understanding here. And so Spirit's talking about you working through a state of confidence in your own energy and not needing connection in order to make you feel whole, and seeing your own value and being empowered by your own energy. Because I feel like there is a devilly energy that pulls through your energy that's creating your suffering here. Okay, and even if we have good intention, because remember the saying, good intentions is paved, what does it say? Paved to the road to hell. Good intention, because we can have a good intention that we want everyone to, do a certain thing, then the universe would be a beautiful place. And then we sort of swing so much in one direction where it's like, it doesn't allow there to be freedom. It doesn't allow there to be independence. It doesn't allow there to be, so we can't use intention to be the indicator of what's good or what's bad. This is a devilly thought. And so we might really double down in what we think in our mind is good, because I'm doing it out of love. I'm doing it for the best interest. This makes most sense. And in theory, it sounds good. That's the ego talking us into story. The ego works 2 ways, and it's going to, let's just say, okay, this is you apply it to the situation. Let's just say I have an issue monitoring my food. And then every time I sort of come home, instead of resisting eating the chocolate cake or the bag of chips, I come home and then my ego says, you know what? It was a tough day. You deserve this chocolate cake. You deserve to sit here. You did nothing wrong. You're just going to just relax with this chocolate cake. And then we're like, yeah, I'm going to believe what this ego is telling me, And it doesn't mean we didn't have a hard day. It didn't mean that we're not deserving of something that makes us feel good, but the ego talks, it's this devil, this backdoor understanding. And so this understanding is something about what we believe in love and what it means to actually love someone and what it means to not, or what it means to disrespect or not to commit or not to build. And this works and this doesn't. And it's very black and white, and it's a very lower state of conscious understanding. And that's the devil. And so it's asking us to see beyond our own devil, our own understanding, so that we can become empowered. Because I feel like you don't feel empowered here. I feel you feel limited and stuck, because it feels like this person who you're engaged with holds the key. Because if only they would want to build with me, if only they wanted to commit, if only they were serious about me, if only they, and we could be doing a lot of cycles here with this person, repeating, who have they learned? What do I mean to them? And then we expose something, or they get a little bit more vulnerable, and then they fall back into their fear and to this distortion, because the distortion hasn't been transmuted or healed. And we could be doing a lot of this sort of back and forth reconciliation, working through something, and then feeling chained. And it's like, I don't want to be chained to that anymore. So there's a desire to move and be empowered, but then there is this feeling sort of stuck to this energy, because it is a divine lesson. And it's like, well, I'm sort of screwed. It's like, I don't want to have to settle for this understanding. My value is, remember the intention, my value is, and we double down. It's like, is it your value or is it your egoic belief? Is it an 8 swords? No matter how clear it might seem to you or understanding to you. So we're having to see through something here, And it's challenging to explain this whole thing, because we might think we consciously chose commitments and this understanding of what it is that we're hanging on so close. And it's like, this person is off wandering, screwing a bunch of people. They're wanting to have their cake and eat it too, or they're not wanting to commit, or they're indecisive about me. They're not choosing me. They're not prioritizing me. They're making me feel like second fiddle. And there's no reason why you should be in any situation where someone's sort of lost in this sort of an 8 sword energy. However, what it is saying is, how does it make you feel? Because if you feel any sort of way that is contracting, like you're not chosen, like you're disappointed, like you're not whole, like you're losing out, like there's a void here, then this is coming from you, not this person. And it's saying you are whole. There's nobody who's going to make you whole. They're seeing beyond this egoic person's way of loving and seeing their wholeness behind. And when you see the wholeness behind, you know that their ego form was acting in a certain way. And there is no threat to you, because what is real cannot be threatened. What is real can never be threatened. It is real. It is unwavering. Nobody can threaten that truth. Okay, but what is the illusion can certainly be threatened, because it's not real. The illusion, the belief, the distortion, that could be threatened. And then we start to think we're that ego, that belief, and we feel threatened, and we feel discouraged, and we feel lonely, we feel lack, we feel scarcity, we feel betrayed. All that stuff is egoic. All that stuff. Okay? So I feel like you can't move forward. So this is your challenge. I can't move forward. I'm stuck here, but I'm not emotionally satisfied here either. So that's it. It's like I'm in an energy here, because it's like, of course, you're not just going to throw in the towel and say, okay, you can be in your 8 swords, use and abuse me, not commit to me, and I'm just like this thing, which I don't think you do. And they're like, okay, well, then I'm empowered to move on. And then we're like, well, move on then. And if you're here, we're not moved on. Okay, and I say it this way only to scare the ones who are really annoying in the comments. And yes, I'm annoyed. And why I'm annoyed is because this message comes through very strong and clear, not from Linda, but from the divine. True love is the lesson here. Everything else, who knows what your lesson is. And in order to reach true love, we have to see through the illusion of the ego, the fear-based love, and how we have an understanding here that's truly 8 swords. So you could be definitely on a path of enlightenment, because once we reach this understanding of unconditional love, agape love, oneness, connectedness, everything else sort of falls away and we see through the veil. We're not seeing fully through the veil just yet. And I think this is the lesson. See through the veil, see the truth of love. And so we might be really trying to focus on certain things. Like one, this forgiveness. Of course, forgiveness is required. But like I said, like when we have risen above a sort of state of consciousness, there is nothing to forgive. And so we might be really focused on like, because there's reconciliation and then there's this second chance, okay, or whatever, this awakening, this understanding, this realization, and this is blocked. And we might just be saying, when will this person see the truth? You know, when will things change? When will, and have this sort of outward sort of expectation or understanding? And Spirit says, well, we'll just keep repeating cycles here because we're not seeing the great truth. It's about how we can come to an understanding of what true, unconditional agape love looks like. But then we've reached some sort of clear understanding of what this connection even means. That somebody that you're dealing with could have an abandonment mood, an 8 swords, and it has absolutely nothing to do with whether they're choosing you or going to pull at your emotion in a way here that makes you feel stuck, because you won't be stuck, because you'll be free to make decisions based on that. And when you make decisions based on that, then there's a shift in this dynamic with this person, because like I said, there seems to be a very tied connection here. Okay, there's a lot of intuition that pulls through this connection too. So there might be telepathy through you and this person that runs very, very strong. And so it could be an energetic hold, and that's how the karma works, or these cycles work. It's like, why do I feel drawn, or a strong magnetization or a pull? And so you guys have heard, I'm pretty sure, when we have a wound or something in the subconscious that needs to be healed or looked at, we're drawn to other people and things and situations that reflect that wound. And that doesn't mean they have the exact same wound. They could, but it's something that draws out the wound. So it could be the mirror reflection of something. Okay, they could have the same wound and just deal with it in a different way, right? Which I think is the case here. But whatever this person has within them, which is a wound, by the way, and the subconscious, which is reflecting back to you. And why is it reflecting back to you? Not so you can heal them, not so you can solve the relationship problem. The wound is reflected so that you can look at yourself and really sit with that in which is not real, which keeps you feeling hostage, stuck, chained to an unhealthy sort of situation or someone's inability to love you. And we could stick to situations where people don't show us love because we might underneath it and not feel worthy of love. Underneath it all, even if we conceptually know we are, there could be something underlying that says we settle with emotionally unavailable people, or we have a fear, again, of being abandoned. And so there's this unhealthy attachment we have to what love looks like. We could have an anxious attachment. We could have just a mental construct belief that is so skewed and far from agape love, because as society, we totally shifted, that we have this understanding of marriage, babies, white picket fence, and that's what it is. And we're just totally shifting. And Spirit says, it doesn't matter how many years and lifetimes we've walked the earth. The truth has always been. The truth cannot morph. The truth has always been and it'll forever be. And so if we're sort of morphing as society and beliefs, and then we're thinking we're making it true, it's like, no, we're straying far from agape love. We're straying. And it's like, bring it back, because the whole point is to bring us closer to divine truth, our spiritual nature, which has stand at the test of time. We are that which is love. Love has no expectations. Love isn't clingy, attaching, based out of fear, have demands, and have expectations. Okay, now, I feel like, yeah, there is this on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again. I'm really seeing it. On again, off again, on again, off again, off again, on again, off again, energetically with this person. and it's tiring and it's exhausting and you're emotionally not happy. It's like, if only this person could emotionally make me happy, if only this person could see, if only they could understand, but it's coming from our understanding that's skewed already, that they need to see something different. Yes, they do, but it's like, that's the mirror we're seeing out there, that it's like mirroring it back to us. What is it we're needing to see here and understand? So let's get into your guidance. Okay, even though we did get some guidance for pile number one. Pile number one, Spirit. What is the guidance here for pile one? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile one. What are they being asked to do here? Like, how can they get to this Queen of Pentacle energy? What is the guidance coming through for pile number one? Like, our ego could really be getting in the way, It knows that it needs some sort of thing. And then it doubles down in that thing. Unless the ego gets the thing that it needs from this other person, then it's withholding love. Then it's has sort of its rule set here. Again, solar plexus energy. All right, so peppermint, inspire, trigger statement. I am stuck. Exactly what I said. I can't go anywhere. I can't go, but I don't want to engage with that. And we think those are the only two options. Okie dokie. True statement. I am filled with possibility. Allow yourself to float up above any thoughts. Remember I said higher state of consciousness. We're rising above the way we think, or emotions, because remember the emotion is triggered by that thought. So when I have a thought, despite what that thought is, because the thoughts just come. We don't control the thought. You're not sitting there going through a catalog saying, I want to think of sadness right now. Let me think of sadness. I want to think of anger. Let me find anger and then sit in that. It's like the thought comes. It just keeps coming. But when we believe that thought, when we feed that thought and like it's real, the emotion comes right with it. The emotion usually follows that thought, always. So when we believe the thought, it's emotionally charged. When we don't believe the thought, there is no emotion that follows. It's like me saying, right now there's a house falling on your head. And you're like, what? You already believe that there is no house falling on your head because you're here. Nothing's threatening you. There's no emotional charge. If I said, I don't know, like someone's stole your purse, I don't know, from wherever, and you're not with your purse, it's like, whoo, your emotion will come through, because you'll believe what I'm telling you, of course, if I'm believable, because the emotion's going to follow through with that thought. And so this is the only thing we can really, really look at is this thought true? Not is my emotion true? We already know the emotion is true. You want love. You want to be appreciated. You want to be chosen. You want to be felt loved. So, but we can feel love, but how we're thinking that this love is going to come about. Okay, the thought is the thing that we need to transcend or move beyond here. Okay, so allow yourself to float up above any thoughts or emotions. See what is needed for you to process them and move forward. That's exactly it. So this is all about how do you move forward. Move forward with the connection, move forward with yourself, move forward and feel free from this karmic lessons of sorts, because I do feel there's a karmic lesson here. Okay, this doesn't mean this person's only karma. This person could be a twin flame. This person could be your soulmate. This person could be a karmic person. This person could just be a pain in your ass for a point in time, for you to see the truth of who you are. Okay, so we have peppermint here. Lemon, eucalyptus, sovereignty. It came through here. Trigger statement. What will they think? The true statement. I navigate through life with ease. Now you must claim your energetic independence, cut the cords to lower vibrations. It is time to ascend. So, interesting how this works. Both you and your person have something behind the ego form. That is true. That's the core. That's the authentic self. Okay, that's consciousness. That's oneness. That's the energy behind, okay, the ego or the whatever, the distortion. And so this part of self can relate with the other part within the other person, because that is true independence. Even though there's oneness, it's the true sovereignty. It's the true freedom. When we know nothing can touch it, it's the thing that when the form dies, we go back to God, we go back to consciousness, our energy. Okay, we don't bring our bike, we don't bring our house, we don't bring our people, we don't bring our money, we don't bring any of that stuff. So there is no belonging, there's no owning of people, there's just that in which cannot be threatened. That which cannot be threatened, when you connect to the core, it recognizes it in the other. But when we believe the thought that we can control, own, avoid, or that we're not free, like this person, okay, then now they're believing their distortion. And then it creates this acting as if in this belief in this limitation. And so what Spirit is saying is like, in order to cut that cord to the devil, the chain of the devil, okay, cut the cord to the lower vibration, cut the cord of the devil. It's time to ascend with the sun. Ascend meaning reach a greater state of consciousness so I can really connect to agape love and be enlightened to that which is the truth, because it rises above the devil or the ego. I have to connect to it, and then I can move because I cut the cord. And I think you want movement one way or another. You don't want to be chained to a devil and a situation that seems no win. You know, you want your freedom. And same with this person and their freedom. Okay, because if you are this other person, it's like, my freedom comes in a certain way, again, 8 swords. And if I commit and if I open up and if I'm vulnerable, then I'm like chained to this situation because I'm seeing it in a black and white sort of way. And so I feel stuck. And so this person also cannot move from you because they're being shown this thing. And it's like, so then they come, this is this cycle, on again, off again. Okay, this push, this pull, because it's true. They can't fight their emotions. They can't say, well, because I want to be free, I'm going to just choose not to love. No, this person is connected to you. You're connected to this person. But it's like, how do we see beyond this illusion? How do we cut the cord to this thought, which is unhealthy because it got developed maybe early in childhood, maybe in a connection of the past that created this abandonment wound or this understanding I have, which is not helping me. It's distorted. Alrighty, so we have purpose with Melissa, and it says the trigger statement, what is the point of it all? The true statement, I am special. You have a unique place in this world with gifts and talents that only you can provide. Use your connection with the divine to share them. So, all of us have a purpose here, a divine purpose that's unique to us. And it isn't dependent on any external thing. Okay, anything that sort of requires something else to prop it up is a distortion and an illusion. Okay, now I use the word illusion, even though it might be existing. Illusion because it has an end and a beginning. Anything with an end and a beginning and comes in form and goes is the illusion. Anything that has no beginning and no end is the truth, because the truth is eternal. Okay, the truth is infinite. And everything else that's sort of finite, that comes and goes, that is the illusion, or it's like impermanent, okay? And so what is the point of it all? We might really be so focused on the form, the impermanent situation, the experience at hand, and this is why it's a lower state of consciousness. When we think we're the form, when we think we're this connection, when we think it's the experience, and that's it, and we can't rise above seeing a greater understanding of purpose, but then, of course, it's heavily charged. And, of course, we want this thing to iron out and have all sorts of expectations and, you know, but when we're rising above with a higher state of consciousness, it's like, I know that time doesn't exist. I know that I am eternal. I know that I am whole and complete, but I could tell you this all day long. I could tell you. Telling you doesn't mean anything. You can intellectually understand what I'm saying, even agree with what I'm saying, but the belief is the thing that needs to get undone, because your belief here is I am the body, or this form is the thing that's real. And the thing that actually is real, we still haven't connected to, because when you do, you'll know and you'll connect to something greater and deeper. The main purpose of why you're here and what you're experiencing here, okay? All right, so we have the yarrow palm. with divination. Trigger statement, I am so drained. Of course, we'd be very drained with this. Absolutely. Okay. But the true statement is, I am shielded. You're finding balance as you see what resonates and what does not. With clear sight, you are safe and protected. So what you are experiencing, because this isn't gaslighting, because this is why I think I trigger a lot of people, which is never my intention, okay? This isn't saying that this situation of somebody who is distorted or in the energy of non-commitment or in fear or is not reflecting back to you like this beautiful deep love or choosing you in that way. That's not saying that is right. They're definitely distorted. Definitely distorted. Okay. But what this is saying is this shielded energy is spirit knowing that no matter how somebody is challenged, no matter their wounds, no matter their energy, there's something within you that cannot be taken away from. There's no taking away from that. You know, some people feel like I'm going to give love and then they're going to use me and then it's going to be taken from me and then I'm going to be at loss. There's going to be lack here and I'm not going to feel whole. And that this understanding that we have, which is so untrue, then it creates this veil over the truth of distortion. Then we see lack, scarcity, and we see disappointment, we see rejection. Okay, so this doesn't mean that experiencing those things aren't real. Yes, we can experience rejection. Yes, we can experience lack, loss, disappointment, not chosen. We're experiencing those things, but those things is because we're coming from a lower state of understanding and mindset. And it's saying above this, you are shielded. Nobody can take anything from you. There is no rejection. There is no loss. There is just the truth and the real. And when you connect to what's true and real, it cannot be threatened. Okay? It cannot be threatened, but we see the distortion more clearly, and then we're free. And like I said, when you're free and you move the energy, usually we watch and see what happens. The other side might shift as well, especially if it's a twin flame. Okay? If it's a twin flame, watch their energy shift and rise, because a true twin flame ascends when you ascend. That's how we know the difference with twin flame. A twin flame will ascend, will heal. Okay? If it's a karmic, if it's someone else, then they fall away and their vibration goes and does other things and annoys other people. All right. So, lemon, clarity, trigger statement. I am so confused. Of course. Of course. Okay. We're believing the illusion, and the illusion might seem very real. It sells us the story. We believe it, but it creates confusion because it's like, how could something that is intuitively real, which it is, because the real thing is behind there. You feel it, you're intuitive, you know it, you sense it, you connect to it. That's real. Absolutely, 100%. And then it comes with this veil of distortion, lack, rejection, understanding of an experience here that doesn't feel good. And so it's confusing to me. It's confusing. And it's confusing. Like, why then can I not be empowered to move forward if this thing is not reflecting to me what I want? It's like, because we're still not seeing our value, because we're still not connected to agape love or what love actually means. We're still in the ego. We're still firing from the solar plexus. We still see distortion in other as something here that's like creating a threat. And so until we see beyond this, and the only way to see beyond someone else's distortion is to see our own. We cannot see someone else's distortion when we're at the same level of consciousness. The only way to see is to rise above where someone is at so that we can see the truth of the situation. The only way we can't see is if we're in the same level with distortion ourselves. It's like two distorted energies looking at each other, pointing the finger, not understanding. Okay, so clarity, trigger statement, I'm confused, but the true statement is I am present. Remember what I said. Love isn't planning the future. Love isn't projecting what it's supposed to be tomorrow, because tomorrow's never promised. And in this present moment, what is it offering me? There could be a lot of fear being in this present moment with what is. A lot of anxiety about being in this present moment. Then that's the fear that I was talking about. That's the fear that we're needing to sit with. That is the thing we're being called to confront. Okay, I am present. That's all you could be. That's all you can be is present. Everything else is an illusion. You can't be in the future. Okay, the past, you can totally be there in the mind, but you can't be reliving in the past. Okay, allow your mind to clear and let the noise of your thoughts fall away. Listen to your intuition. So this is exactly the challenge. The whole challenge I've been reading. The intuition is the truth because it connects to the heart, blocked because of the thoughts. The thoughts are overriding my intuition. The fear is overriding my intuition. The devil is overriding my intuition, which means the ego overrides the truth. In this case, it has more life within me. Not that the ego is better or bigger or truer, but it has more pull because it's emotionally charged. The devil seems very real. The ego's calling the shots. These thoughts are very real in my world, and they're creating distortion. And the truth is now veiled, and my intuition is now clouded. And until I can connect and see the truth, I'm sort of stuck here believing what I believe, creating all sorts of blocks and tiredness. Okay, so lemon with clarity. Did I read this? Yes, I'm present. So to get present is to say, in this present moment, what is the threat? Not what is my mind telling me, because you can assure you your mind is already projecting into future, thinking about past. That's how we know we're not in the present moment. So in this present moment, what is a threat? Because rarely is the present moment ever a threat. Rarely, ever. Okay, so the metabolic with self-worth, exactly first thing I said to you. Okay, trigger statement, I am disgusting. The metabolic, the true statement here is I am a miracle. Please be gentle and love yourself. Provide your body, mind with what it truly needs to carry on your journey. So you're exhausted, you're tired. You might be giving a lot of power to this person because they're deciding whether this is a thing, not a thing. They're dictating your future movement. It's like, no, they're actually not. Spirit is saying, when you see this understanding, it's going to allow you to see the truth so you can move forward. Not this person, because I feel this person is also at the mercy of having to see and understand something too. Okay, their independence, their self-worth, that they are already sovereign. And you can say, well, they obviously know their self-worth if they're like acting however they act. It's like, no, their abandonment wounds coming through a different way. There's a lot of fear coming through with your person, okay? And so Spirit's saying this experience is all for the clear truth to come forward. The clear truth of what love is, your divine purpose, your empowerment, your self-worth, your intuition of connecting to the divine here. Okay, so let's see. Spirit, clear and concise message for pile 1. What is the guidance and the advice to close out this reading? What has been missed? What is the guidance? What is the advice for pile 1? What's going to help them move through this experience? Help them to see what they might not necessarily be understanding at this time. Okay. Gratitude. Beautiful. I am aware of the light in my life. I direct my thoughts to the beauty in and around me. So, first of all, the thoughts get in the way. Okay, when they're driven from whatever sort of firing these thoughts. What we can control is when these thoughts come, we shouldn't shove them away or reject them. We see them. We just don't infuse them with belief. We don't say, you're true, and now I feel even more like shit. I feel even more depressed. It's like, no. Thought, I see you. I don't believe you. I don't want to believe you, even if I do believe you. I could see that there's an illusion here, or there's a wound here, or there's a lack of seeing truth. But what I can do is I could sit with an energy of gratitude for what is. I sit with what is, I feel what is, and I raise my vibration. And through this process, and now that we slowly shift our thoughts over time, and we start to sit with more energies of gratitude. And gratitude is very close to vibration of love. Okay, I'm aware of the light in my life. I direct my thoughts to the beauty in and around me. I give thanks to God for every little thing that brings me joy. Thus, enlighten my thoughts. Riches surround me, and I appreciate all that life brings me. So we could get very stuck in a rut with the lower vibration of what isn't. What isn't, you know, and stay there. And feel stuck here and feel emotionally dissatisfied. And it's like we can connect to what is good. What does feel like love? What is going well, so that we can sit there, and then slowly this shifts to a higher vibration. They're really talking about your vibration of thought, okay? So one step at a time. I see the mountain ahead and dedicate myself to taking one small step at a time. I make progress by staying focused on the present moment. You got that again. Where is that? Yeah, right here. I am present. Okay, I make progress by staying focused on the present moment, the current task. Thus, I gain my ease of living. So, this is giving you very practical advice. Very practical. Because it's in this moment, when that thought comes, I'm going to take this time, this step, to get focused on the gratitude. And I'm going to shift my energy from the negative thought or the charged emotional thought of lack, rejection, disappointment, what it is that I think I need from other. And I'm going to sit with gratitude. And I'm going to keep doing that. My commitment is one step at a time to keep doing that. So I can shift this energy, so I can learn the lessons, so I could see and raise my vibration. But when we're really chained to the devil, we're very low to that vibration, you know? Eventually we'll see our self-worth. Eventually we'll see clearly. Eventually we'll connect to all that is we're grateful for. Okay, so I feel it's more changing your thought pattern here. Okay, serenity. Through love, release and through love, release, and inner work, I know peace. I have a gentle view of life and welcome every step with confidence. I remain brave in the face of fear, and I have the wisdom to let the universe do its work. Yes, absolutely. This is all about shadow work and trusting the divine here to find peace, okay? Beautiful green, which is the heart chakra. And then we have the calm, beautiful with serenity. Totally going hand in hand. I breathe, live, and grow the light within me. I do one thing at a time. Again, one step at a time, really coming through here. Okay, I do one thing at a time and focus on the present moment. I cast off my doubts. All fears dissipate, and I find peace in my being. So you're being called to connect to what is real within you. That's where you're going to find peace and calm, not in what the distorted thought is thinking. That's untrue. You're having to see through the illusion. Okay, harmony. Beautiful. This is what Four Wands is about. So I open myself to the divine being within me. I am the image of God. Thus, I have the power to bring light into my life. I turn any darkness in me into something beautiful. That's called a transmutation. So that which I fear, that which is the devil, I transmute it into light through an energy that is higher vibration, like gratitude. In the absence of resentment, anger, or doubt, I find harmony. So when we are feeling slighted by other, that's a very low vibrational belief. Other did me dirty. Other didn't pick me. Other slighted me, betrayed me, disappointed me, is out gallivanting, is this, is that, is that. That's a very low state of consciousness. Okay, now this doesn't mean you didn't experience what you did, but when we go and we attach to that energy, and then they did that, and they did that, and then that, anything that comes after the act itself is ego. Period. End of story. This person is unable to tell me whatever it is that I need to hear. Everything we piggyback on that because they don't love me, because they are this, because it's did that, and this is what it does to this. This is all ego story. This is all eight swords believing. None of it is true. We only know the fact of what we're experiencing in this present moment. That's it. And so it's saying, be in this present moment. Don't piggyback on what has happened with an elaborate story, because then we feel resentment, anger, disappointment, let down, lack, and all that stuff comes from the mind. The mind creates it. The ego creates it. The story creates it. The belief in that creates it. But there is no lack. Everything's abundant. You're already whole and complete. There is nothing here that's a threat to you. Nothing real can be threatened. Okay, so we're working through our beliefs of this thing, and it comes one step at a time. It's not going to just fall away because the tarot reader told you this. And usually when we hear something that's very true, because our spirit knows, our soul is connected to this truth, we know that it vibrates deeply. We know that there's something real here. We know intuitively it vibrates within us as truth. But then it's like, how do we get there? It's like, because we're still working through the ascension. We're still working through the distortion. We're still having to transmute this energy. Okay, and transcendence, it means I take that which is there and I utilize this energy. I don't get rid of it. I don't try to force it away. I utilize the energy, and I'm an alchemist, and I make something else with this energy. So you want peace. You want harmony. You want to feel whole within yourself. Doesn't mean you're not whole, but you want to feel it. You want to connect to it. You want to be aligned with it. You don't want to feel stuck, tired. You don't want to feel trapped. You don't want to feel limited. You don't want to feel scarcity, rejection, you know? And so this is telling you how to do it. This isn't saying once this person comes, you'll feel whole. Once this person comes, this is how you get them. No, what it's saying is how do you feel relieved of this and which is causing you suffering? This is what you do. And now whether this person changes and rises up, this is me giving you this thing, okay? But through experience, your twin flame will ascend when you ascend. Okay? And if it's not your twin flame, if it's not somebody who is ascending, then they will fall away and you will line up with the higher vibrational person you're meant to find. But harmony will vibrate different than misery and suffering and distortion. And so you'll bring towards you a higher vibrational connection, not one that makes you emotionally feel tired or stuck. Okay? Pile number 1, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I love you very much. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Pile number 2, you guys picked the Ancestral Path Tarot, and we're looking at guidance, advice in your current relationship. Okay, whatever this relationship is, and I do suggest you go listen to the intro so that we don't get triggered and we understand what it is that I'm channeling here. So most likely this could be an intimate romantic partnership, okay, because this is generally what I read for, but you apply it to your relationship or the person you're coming here about and see what Spirit wants you to know in regards to how you can heal, move beyond, or adapt or do what you need to do in order for there to be growth in your relationship. So, spirits, how will Pile 2 know that this is indeed their Pile? What is going on in the connection between them and the person that they came here about? And guidance for Pile number 2. How will they know that this is indeed their, well, these cards are very large to shuffle. I'm going to shuffle like this. How does Pile 2 know that this is indeed their connection? Can we channel what is going on here in this connection? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of Pile number 2. Please protect me and the viewer and this connection and the person they came here about as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of Pile number 2. Pile 2, thank you so much for being here. I'd like to thank your higher self, spirit team, guides, ancestors, and spirit for this active divination, and of course, the person you came here about. All right. So at the bottom of the deck, the sun. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Divine masculine energy. This could signify enlightenment, an enlightened connection. Okay, divinely guided connection. Wow. Sun energy. Some of you guys might have been pulled to Pile 1 because the sun was sort of the first energy that was coming through as divine masculine, although it's coming through as Aries. Here we got Leo. Sun represents ego. Clear and concise message. How will Pile number 2 know that this is indeed their connection? How will Pile 2 know that this is their connection? Thank you so much for being here, Pile 2. Realize you guys have a lot of readers you can go see. And I do appreciate you trusting me to channel your connection here. I feel very blessed to be here. I do feel there's one more. Serene love. Oh my goodness. 101. Wow. Blown away by today's readings for sure. Pile 2. Is there one more? Pile 2's connection at this time. I feel 2 more. Okay, so we have serene love, peaceful love, tranquil love, trusting love, quiet love, happy love, cloudless love. Type 1, the peace, sorry, not the peace, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Virgo, Gemini energy. And then we have the green ray, which is the heart chakra, 34 and 7. Cancer energy here. It says relationship skill, enthusiasm, lightness, dynamic, projects, joyful. It's the sun energy, pleasure, optimism. Beautiful sun coming through again. Okay. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Okay, and then we have seduction, solar plexus 30 and 3. It says attentiveness, charisma, glamour. Did we have charisma here? I thought we did. I don't know why I felt charisma. Okay, charisma, glamour, beauty, elegance, and gallantry. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity. There's 2 people again here. Oh, and we have 2 people here as well. Wow. Look at the language here. She's swinging on a swing and he's reaching out. And here he's kissing her hand. And here they're holding hands. Okay. I don't know why it was coming through very much like the imagery meant something here. Okay, so we have Jupiter and Chiron, 46. So that's the number 10. So wounds are magnified here for sure with this Jupiter and Chiron. Okay, Jupiter, when it exalts, it's like it's magnifying that in which Chiron is the wounded healer. So the story of Chiron is that the Chiron is able to heal everyone but himself. And so there's a wound. And by healing others, it's like this Chiron's journey is fulfilling that in which he's seeking to heal himself by healing other. Okay. Yeah. Interesting energy. Jupiter is a ruling planet for Sagittarius, Pisces, Mars, and Chiron. Oh my goodness. 40 or 4. 4 is divine masculine energy. We have the sun, which is divine masculine. Mars is being assertive, expressing, and being empowered to take action, asserting oneself. Okay, Chiron again, the wounded healer, coming through very strong. Okay. Fascinating. And we have the 5 of Cups in the reverse. The 9 of Sacred Circles. That's the 9 of Pentacles. That's the card of confidence and independence. And then we have the Fool in reverse, Aquarius energy. Okay, and then we have the Queen of Sacred Circles. Queen of Pentacles came out for pile 1. Now this Queen of Pentacles is in the reverse. And look, we have a little baby here. So this is giving me ancestral with the baby, something generational. All right, something about film is coming through. Yeah, something of the past really comes through as film. So I'm getting it from this, like those old reels. So I'm getting 6 cup energy in reverse, which is childhood experience and childhood memory of the past. Something replaying with the film. It could be something familial here as well. Okay, this is probably going to be a deep reading here, yeah, especially with Chiron. We could be healing deep ancestral wounds here. Okay, and then we have the Tower in the reverse. So it's more like Aquarius energy with the Tower because it represents this Uranus energy. Okay, and then we have the Chariot, Cancer energy. This is all about shadow integration, working with the universe, remaining balanced, how to transcend energy. And we have lions here, more masculine energy. Both of these are male lions. It's leading with male energy. Same with this Mars. So as we know, like the masculine and feminine create balance. 2 masculine energies don't create balance. This Chariot is not in balance here so much. This masculine is in his armor. Okay, let me sit here with this energy to channel what I see. Under that's the 6 cups in reverse, exactly as I was channeling from this. Yeah, exactly as I was channeling from that. Okay, my throat's getting itchy and tight, but let me I don't know if I should get a drink. Let me see what I can see here. You guys can skip ahead here, okay? I'm not sure it's clear or that I even understand what I'm seeing, so just give me a moment. Okay, pile number 2. This could be your energy, okay? I just always assume it's not, but it could definitely be. This could be someone you're dealing with. And if it is someone you're dealing with, I don't know if the advice is going to come for you or for this person, but I'm feeling one energy here. So apply it as you see fit. Okay, could give you insight into how your person is. For sure. But if this is you, then it's like you'll get guidance in what's sort of happening here. The energy I'm tapped into here feels like a very strong masculine energy. Doesn't mean gender at all. Okay. This is somebody here who doubles down in their strength. The strength for them means going it alone, depending on themselves, and an understanding of how they have to be, who they have to be, what they have to stand for, in order for them to be okay. And where did this originate? And what's manifesting as a result of this sort of imbalance? Because as we know, everything requires feminine and masculine energy. The feminine energy is receptive. It softens. It's open. It allows itself to experience without having to push out energy. It sort of allows things to come in. It allows oneself to feel. It allows oneself to express and be open and sit with energy. This energy is sort of pushing out, but it's limited. So what it's saying here is there's a love on the table, which I'm sure is this connection to experience serene love, a peaceful love, a tranquil love, a trusting love, a quiet love, a happy love, and a cloudless love, meaning love that doesn't turn my world into chaos. And when I think love turns worlds into chaos, I don't see it as something that I can step into, because it threatens my world. It could threaten my security, my stability, my independence, my freedom, everything could just go totally, completely upside down when I commit myself completely and believe in a connection. When I believe in a connection, I've given away my power. And then the rug can be pulled. And then I'm trusting someone with my life. Why? Because in the past, with the 6 cups in reverse, I've experienced exactly that. So a divorce, my parents, and I haven't resolved the experience I had as a child when they went through a divorce or separation, or all I've ever experienced were people who did not necessarily get along when they were connecting in a relationship. And it resulted in travesty, devastation, upheaval. It's like I can't rely on that. My world would become unstable. I would become totally flipped upside down. So if I observed a parent who had a difficult time through a separation or a divorce, gain their bearings, I do everything in my power to not put myself in that position. So no, I would never open myself up or allow myself to get that deep in an experience where my power is given away. And I haven't healed that thing. And so when I don't heal that thing, I don't experience what is meant for me, because what is meant for us all is to experience joy, peaceful love, tranquil love, trusting love, quiet love, happy love, and a cloudless love, because it exists. Not all love creates chaos, upheaval. There's peaceful divorce. There's peaceful togetherness in a full lifetime. There's a whole bunch of things, but we don't know what our story is when the divine is requiring us to unfold in the present moment with what is. But when we're in a reverse Fool and a 6 of Cups reverse, we're too heavy in past experience, so much so that we can't be in the present moment enjoying what we truly feel. So what do we feel? Like there's a beautiful connection in front of us, pulling to us, calling to us. It's a true, deep, beautiful love. And we're like, ooh, is it seducing me? Is it trying to pull me into some sort of trap, like a siren, pulling me to my demise, going to strip me of all that I have, because all that I can control here is myself, my decisions, my autonomy, my freedom, my independence, myself. And so that gives me power, that gives me strength, that gives me all the things that I think I need. And so that is how I run my operation of self, how I've been living my life at the expense of experiencing true meaning and deepness here. And so now we're experiencing something that's sort of calling us out. And it's calling us out. Why? Because we're too much in masculine energy. And this masculine energy, which, by the way, we're really defending here, is at the expense of experiencing something very true, very beautiful, very real. Okay? And it is the ultimate, like I say, because the sun is the ultimate card here in the tarot, which represents happiness, joy, from this place of abundance. And so there's a process of ascension that happens throughout this experience, where we're in a lower state of consciousness, which means the 5 cup, seeing lack, seeing disappointment, hanging on to the pain or the experience of the past. Okay, so that's sort of the lower state of consciousness. And then working through transmutation to become more enlightened or more illuminated or see the truth. Because the truth is that experience happens, it comes, it goes, it manifests, and it is something in which we can experience, but we don't become that in which we've experienced. We can experience it, and then our true light, our true being is separate from that in which we've been experiencing. And nothing can impact this beautiful true light of ours. And any experience we had of the past doesn't dictate who we are, or if, let's say, all of a sudden it's like we believe, or that in which we identify with. So I am this world I created. My independence is is standing or symbolizing who I am. My strength gives me the story of who I am. So I'm identified right now with a version of me. So it is an egoic mind frame that we have. And it's the thought that I'm identified with, that version, that creates my suffering. But the minute I see the truth, that I'm not that identity, that I'm not the experience of the past, that I'm much greater and bigger than that, and that no matter how guarded or defensive or protected or strong that I think that I am, the universe is really what dictates the experience. And I could create suffering, I could resist, I could try to tell myself all sorts of things, and it doesn't erase the truth. It only creates suffering. It only creates distortion. And so I feel like this energy is one that's sort of stuck in the past, reliving what's happened to them. And if they're not mentally doing this, their current day is an identity that they give themselves, that they feel they pull their strength from because of an experience of the past. So they might have left that experience in the past a long time ago. Doesn't necessarily mean they're ruminating about the past, but whatever they have experienced in the past created an understanding of how I have to be and who I am. And now I hang on to that identity. That is who I am. I am someone who will not be taken advantage of, who won't go through a divorce, who's not going to experience somebody using me, who's never going to depend on anyone else, who's going to make my own world a reality here, who's self-sufficient and strong, and anything else could be weak, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I feel like there's so many layers here, because there's the ancestors that pull through here. And so there's something we're healing through the ancestral lineage. I don't know with the Chiron here exactly how this manifests, because it could be different for all of you guys, especially when it's not clear in a reading, is because it could be very different depending on, obviously, our own experience. Okay, but I do feel it runs very deep. And so it could be like a lineage of like distorted masculine energy, you know? And we're healing that masculine energy. Like the masculine wasn't able to carry both feminine and masculine in a healthy way, to show up in a healthy way, and dominated with masculine energy. It's like, how do I heal this understanding I have, or this experience, or this belief? Okay, whether I've observed it or it's just sort of running through me. Okay, or it could be a need to prove one's own is sort of independence or strength, because it's like I've observed maybe like the feminine maybe being overpowered by masculine energy or dominated. And so now I create this aversion to feminine energy, or to be soft, or to appear like I could be taken advantage of, and cut it off. You know, like cut it off before it becomes something that could sort of drive me or run me down a path. And so the only control I have is to not go down that path, because now I'm strong, now I'm independent, now I'm sort of in this thing, and I don't want to be dependent financially. So it could be like a financial thing. Like I've observed one parent, most likely the divine feminine, have to be dependent on the masculine, because the masculine had control, the masculine had the power, the masculine dictated the life of the feminine, where they'd live, how they lived, what she could do, whether she had to work or whether she stayed at home, or whether she had this lifestyle or that lifestyle, and he won the arguments, or he wore the pants, or he had the power. And so regardless of a masculine or feminine, it's like I've learned that the power is in that one that drives the control and the power. Therefore, I need control and power. Okay, so however it came through, because for all of you guys, like I said, is very different, but it is a 6 cups in reverse, because it's the past experience. And this now created an identity that I believe is true through an egoic belief and an attachment to an identity. So I believe that in which how I'm acting. And all energies here is like, I don't want to be dependent. I don't want to have my freedom or my world be flipped upside down and dictated outside of my control by the thing that's stronger, by the thing that has more power. And so I have to be that of the power. I have to be the thing that's in control here. I have to be the strength here. And so if this means blocking, defensive, guarded, not taking risks, not allowing, then that's what it means. So I fight here. But what do I experience? I experience disappointment. I experience a loss. I experience sadness. I experience rejection. I experience emotional sadness. I could lose out on opportunity. And so now there's these two worlds, you know, which is true, because I really truly believe that I'm this identity. But I feel in my soul a truth of love, because love is true. Love is true. Love is real. Love is there. So how do I reconcile these two? And when I utilize the same energy I've always utilized, because I believe it's me, the masculine, the dominant, the forcing out, the aggression, the assertion, when I use that energy to try to balance out, it's not working. No, it's not working, because this requires some yin, not all the yang. How do I become yin? How do I feel it's safe for me to be yin? Okay, when I say yin, the feminine energy, how do I work through this when I just pull my strength from this 9 pentacles sort of energy? Now, for some of you guys, also what's coming through, there could be an energy here of I have to be in a certain strength, independent in a certain way, or carry a certain financial world, or stand in a certain way first before I could experience love. So it's like I have an idea of who I'd have to be, who I'd have to fulfill, some sort of role I'd have to fulfill, or being that I'd have to enact here. And as long as I have like a flaw in that, or a dependence somewhere else, or I'm not quite there, then it's like I don't allow myself permission. So that's also a distorted belief, because what I've observed, Yeah. So we're going to get into your guidance. I'm just seeing what else comes through here. I feel there's a one-track mind here, and it's really like how to maintain some sort of control in a situation that makes me feel fearful, when it sort of is asking me to be different than that in which I think that I am, although I am none of that in which I think I am. And in this present moment, it requires me to either sit in yin or yang, depending what the present moment calls for. Am I being called to receive love? Am I called to give love? Am I called to be open? Am I called to do what exactly? And if my distortion says, whoa, 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 it's unsafe to love, whoa, 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 but then it's like I'm going to react to the 6 cups, not to the present moment. 6 cups in reverse, by the way. I'm going to react to the 6 cups in reverse rather than the present moment. And then I'm perpetuating that wound, that unsafe place, that inability for others to connect with me. And I live there, and I recreate that. And so it's impossible to be able to give and receive in a beautiful, vulnerable, open state. And then I experience the shortcoming of that, because, of course, if we can't allow ourselves to deeply receive and give, then the other can't do it, and neither can we. So there's a block, a defensiveness, an inability to go to the depths of experience. And I feel like what you're being guided to do is shine the light of awareness on the truth of this 6 cups. Because when we see the 6 cups for what it is and how it's morphed us into a being that we believe is us, when we see through that illusion, we know that that isn't us, that is an egoic identity that we're attached to. And when we see that we're dominantly riding with masculine energy, then we say, what is my aversion to the feminine energy? What is the fear here to the feminine energy? How is this blocking my ability to experience the present moment as it is, rather than run the other way or shut it out because I'm trying to prevent a failure or a disappointment or a repeat of the past, It's like shine this light of awareness on this wound. See the thing that happened as an experience of the past. Now, of course, we could say, well, I just don't want to experience the same thing again. And it seems very real here that this could happen again. And you're right, this could happen again, for sure. And it isn't saying it's never going to happen again. There'll be no divorce, no separation, no rug getting pulled, no betrayal, no whatever, because it could be a very painful betrayal that's happened, This also is the divorce card. I've witnessed a divorce. I've gone through a divorce. I've experienced suffering. It's very real. It can happen again. I'd be in denial if I just said, well, let me just foolishly walk up into and see what happens. It's like, no, it has to be deeper than this. What is the deeper? It means shine the light of awareness on that in which happened to see the truth. Sun to me is giving me this truth, the clear truth, the clarity. When we see the truth of what happened, we're no longer seeing it as betrayal, a suffering, an experience that's like devastating in a way here that was like earth-shattering, that created this understanding. The truth is much more truer than that. Yes, it could have been painful. Yes, it could have appeared as betrayal, and someone could have experienced betrayal for sure. It's all an experience that we gave meaning to. But the meaning itself really is what we apply to it. 10 people can experience the same thing. One experience betrayal, one say it's amicable, one say it was an experience, another say, well, I'm glad I had that experience, so I'll know never to do it again. Another one can say it was so devastating, it put me in a mental hospital for 10 years. Whatever the experience is, it's real to that person. And so what it's saying is we can put the light of awareness on that experience and look again, because when we're no longer in that experience, we're no longer in that environment, how do we see it today? What's our light of awareness? What light can we shine on what was experienced there? What is true? Because what we'll find maybe is that the truth is not as charged as how we had experienced it. Maybe it was like two people that didn't get along. Maybe they stayed there longer than need be. Maybe there was one argument we remember very strongly as a child, potentially, that is very emotionally heavily charged. But the rest of this experience might have been amicable. Maybe it was the right thing. Maybe everything worked out fine in the end. Maybe it was meant to be how it was. Whatever it was, there's some sort of truth we're not seeing, and we're charged with the experience that happened over and over and over inside our energy body. Again, whether we are hanging on to it as a thought, going to bed, oh, I remember the divorce, I remember my childhood. Maybe not necessarily. Okay, but the minute we start to bond, the reaction happens. It's like, whoa, 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 I can't go there. Whoa, this present moment's fearing me. No, no, no. I can't allow things to surpass a certain point where I feel I'm going to lose control. Whoa, 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 whoa. I don't want to depend on anyone or anything here, because I replay in my energy body what does happen when someone goes and allows themselves to experience the depths of love. It's a fearful place and it leaves you vulnerable. So therefore, I will steer myself how I want it. So we could be very controlling, where it goes, how fast it goes, where it's going to go. And it's like, all of this isn't love. Love isn't control. Love isn't shutting things out. Love isn't out of fear. Love isn't avoidance. Love isn't withholding. Okay, and I don't think you like to do this, but this is how it manifests. I'm going to control this thing. I got to maneuver this thing. I got to do something here. Otherwise, the rug gets pulled and then I'm at the mercy of this thing, completely out of control. No, 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 no. You know? So we're going to give you some guidance and some advice. But before I get into that, I got to use the washroom. I will be right back. Pile number 2, one thing that came through that I was channeling as I was leaving, but one thing I didn't touch on was this person could certainly be in a situation currently, okay? And those people probably clicked away. There seems to be something even of like financial security and stability. So if they're in an unhappy marriage, because remember we're saying, how would you know this is your pile? An unhappy marriage or a situation in which the material world now is stronger than that of my emotional happiness here. And I don't want to lose my financial standing, stability, security in some way, because I have a belief in scarcity. And so I don't risk or chance breaking out of situation, because I believe so strongly that my security and this world, that I am the form, or I am stable and secure how it is, and anything that rocks this foundation is going to be a threat here. And so this person could be really sort of stuck where they're at here because of the financial thing. And it could be that they've observed maybe other people having to rebuild their world financially, or this could be just a really locked in fear from the ancestors. Okay, like I grew up in scarcity, lack, you have to work for your money. I built this empire. Now, whoa, my money's going to be at risk. My whole security. And it's like, I just stay put here, because money's a real thing that's going to be like at risk, and it's going to create a devastation. And then who will I be? Who will I be? But it's like this attachment devil to the material world. So trusting in the universe here. And so this comes through very strong as well, Yes. So you could definitely be dealing with, and like I said, if this is your energy, it's like the power we give to the material world, so much so because we believe we're this form, and that the experience we're having right under our nose is it. And that the greater consciousness, the greater awareness is understanding this attachment to the material realm and the power we give to it and how we are identified with it. That's dictating our shots and telling us we can't do this, or we can do that, or we can allow for this, but not for that, and predict we're going to be without, and we believe in lack and scarcity. Okay, but we're coming from that mindset, so we just perpetuate more lack, more scarcity. So let's see, Spirit, what is the guidance here for pile number 2? What is the guidance, the advice per pile to the viewer. So I don't know if this is, like I said, your energy, someone you're dealing with, but we're asking for guidance and advice for the viewer. Okay, so we got comforting, consolation, trigger statement, I cannot go on. The true statement, my heart is light. Beautiful light. Heart is what? The emotions. Allowing oneself to trust one's heart doesn't mean how much money I'm going to have to sacrifice. Doesn't mean what's going to happen in the future. It means my heart is my light. I follow my heart. What's true is peaceful love, tranquil love, trusting love, quiet love, happy love, and cloudless love. If it is here in the present moment, I can trust it. That's it. Okay? Please hold space for the feelings you have. Honor them and be with them. Your burden will be lightened. So we're resisting what is. I'm resisting feeling feelings. I'm resisting having desire or sitting in love, because then my power, I'd be too much in yin energy. Then I could be deceived. I could be controlled. I could be manipulated. I could go down a path that would be very fearful, that I'd have no control over. So I must be tough. Yeah, alrighty. So tension, release, trigger statement. I have nothing left. That's the scarcity energy. Okay, nothing left. So therefore I don't do. The big fear here is to lose out or miss out. So tension, true statement, I nurture myself. Dear one, it is time to settle, create a sacred space where you can be in that place of rest. Healing will unfold. So the release, I feel, is the release of scarcity. The tension we feel is the truth bubbling up, the truth. There's nothing we can do about the truth. The clear truth is coming through. What is the truth? The way I feel. Love is true. Joy is true. Pleasure is true. All of this truth comes through. And now the tension is, the wound of the past, the experience of the past, the thing that I believe to be very true in my mind has me in this tension hole. It's like, make some space to see and release that which is not true. Release, release, release. The experience of the past, because it's creating the tension in the present moment. It's dictating where we go and how we make decisions here. Okay, tangerine. Innocence. Trigger statement, I have so much to do. The true statement is, I am playful. Let the burdens of responsibility go in this moment and look at your world with the eyes of a child. So lots of child comes through. I feel like that last part that I channeled for you guys, if there is somebody here who's like seeing their material world as like wrongs and rights, it's like, I got to do the right thing here. This material world transcends emotions and feelings and all of this stuff. And it's like the inner child wants to be connected to. The inner child is dying to experience a place to feel safe, an innocence that comes out and allows it to be expressed, a vulnerability. So I feel like this person has a very hard time being vulnerable. This person's masking, refusing, avoiding, suppressing, denying, and doing all that they can to not be vulnerable, to not let their innocence come out. It's all a control of the masculine energy, but it's saying, allow this child to come out, allow it to play. This is also talking about the child. The sun in the RWS version has the children. Okay, so childhood, 6 is childhood. We see the child here. We see the ancestrals here. So a lot about this inner beautiful child energy, which is the truth. Okay, the truth is the inner child, but the inner child, if it's suppressed, it's going to run rampant. It's going to create this tension because the inner child saying, I want this, I need that, this happened, I need to express, I want to be validated, and it runs the show. So it's like, what's my inner child saying? What is my energy saying? What do I need to release? What sort of energy am I hanging on to here that I need to see through in order to create more harmony and peace? Okay, so adaptable, liberated. Trigger statement, what happens next? The true statement, I am divinely connected. Dear soul, please remember that you never walk alone. So I do feel there's something about the ancestors coming through very strong here. I feel like you're healing, or you or whoever this is, I'm channeling, healing something of this wounding that could have been carried for many, many lifetimes. Okay, or just within your ancestry lifetimes. And I feel like you're breaking this breaking from this thing. But the only way to be liberated is to shine your light of awareness and connect to the divine truth. So I don't know that your ancestors before you connected to the truth of the divine. And I feel like what Spirit's really talking about here is what happens next could be like this anticipation. Okay, because that's the trigger statement, the fear. What's going to happen? I'm going to lose my power, my control, or my financial gain, or my security, or my stability, or something like this. If I risk experiencing love, it's like, no, then you'll be truly liberated. Because right now we're controlled and we think, I want the control. But it's like, no, our fear is controlling. What we don't want is controlling us to create this tension. So really, are we in control? No. So there's a need to understand how to work with present energy and see this tension that comes through as something that we're working through releasing so that this innocence and this vulnerability can be experienced without feeling threatened. Okay, protective. That's this shielded, guarded, defensive energy. So immune. Trigger statement, I am not safe. Yeah, anticipating the worst. I'm not going to be safe. I'm being pulled down somewhere where I have no control. Okay, but the true statement is I am secure. Again, something about security and stability here that we feel very threatened. And it could be that we had to watch, again, a parent build their world and us as a child maybe feeling very much at the mercy of like this rebuild where things weren't secure, where things were up in the air, there was stability lost. It was like, I never want to experience a lack of stability or putting my dependency on any other. I want to be strong in my independence here. And we feel we might need to trade it for another. It's like, no, this adaptability means we don't have to trade our emotional truth of love, experience, vulnerability, and innocence in order to remain secure. That's disbelief or a misbelief. Okay, misguided belief, I should say. So I am secure. Fill any areas of energetic weakness with strength. You can walk easily knowing that you are safe and protected. So this strength energy is a cover-up. It's like, I got to be strong. I got to be in this masculine energy. I got to remain in control. But that's a weakness. That is the weakness. Because it's actually stronger to be vulnerable. It's actually stronger to allow the innocence to come through. It's like, whoa, this is facing our fear of being vulnerable, of being exposed. It's like, I'm strong when I'm in control. It's like, no, actually, we're more weak. And so it's saying you are secure in order to be true. In order to be true, you are protected. But the more there's this energy of having to control, the more you have things to control about. So it's creating the environment you're trying to avoid upheaval, trying to avoid all this stuff. And we're creating more and more of that environment to protect. So it's like you are already protected. You don't have to create the protection. Because I do feel we're defensive. We're almost creating this understanding that we're protecting something here, but it's the opposite of what we're being called to experience here, okay? All right, sandalwood, awareness, which is the sun. Beautiful trigger statement. I never get what I want, but the true statement is I am a powerful creator. Listen to your inner voice. Release your ideas of the outcome you wish to see and trust that you are aligned with the universe. So, beautiful angel. I feel like we feel very much like we are the ones that are driving the shots. We're the ones that are in control. Meanwhile, the chariot's here saying the universe is the one that's dictating. And we can engage how we're engaging with that ride or with that energy that's moving us. Yes, you're a powerful creator for sure. And so if you're creating tension, if you're creating a need to protect oneself, if you're creating an environment here that you want to protect yourself, you create more of an environment of a need to protect oneself. And so it's saying, if you are the creator and the universe throws you a tower or the universe leads you into something that feels like you're out of control, it's saying you can still control what your inner voice is telling you in that moment. And if you're not attached to an outcome, things will manifest like divorce, separation, argument, whatever manifests. But the truth is that your inner alignment to the universe can't be touched. There's nothing that's going to be pulled from you. Your strength won't be pulled from you. There's nothing taken from you. That's it. That's an illusion. You are the creator. Nobody can tap into your endless well of creation and pull everything you've got, and then you'll never be able to create again. I could never build again. I could never live again. I'd be stripped of my power, And then having full awareness says, I am the creator. I can create my environment. I can also experience the depth and the innocence of love, and also build a world that makes me feel safe. That's in your hands. Only when you're aligned to the creator and the truth, though. Not when you're listening to a 6 cups in reverse. Okay? So let's see. I guess this is advice for the person who's I'm channeling here for pile 2. Now, I don't know if you're with someone like this, what your guidance is, but somehow I do feel pile 1 and 2 could definitely be tied. And it could be your guidance in pile 1. Okay, just take it if it resonates for you. But let's see. For pile number 2, Spirit, what is the guidance? What is the guidance for pile 2? What is the guidance and the advice for pile 2? Yeah, I almost feel like there is this anxiety that the person you're going to latch onto sort of can swing any which way and it's out of your control. They have the power to swing any which way and I'm going to be at the mercy of that. It's like, I'm seasick. No, you have the power. But right now, this energy is actually limiting your control for sure. And we think we're in control, but it's limiting. It's suppressing. Okay, so we have courage. Yes. So I'm stronger than the fear and bigger than the doubt. I am light and I remain light. I trust in God and stand tall before the test of time. I grow and become wiser through every challenge. I am a being of new life. What's new life? Not living in the past, not anticipating what could go wrong, not fears of the past that contaminate my present. This is in the present moment. I could face what I need to face. That's where I find the courage and the strength. That's true strength. That's true masculine energy. In this present moment, what's it requiring me to do? The courage to face it, to let this inner child come out, or to be vulnerable, to open up. I feel you're being called to create a new energy within you rather than an old energy you've been hanging on to, okay? Choice. I choose serenity, light, and positive energy. No matter what I go through, I choose happiness. I rise above fear and direct my thoughts to God. So lots here about fear. The only reason we'd be this attached to control is because fear of things going sideways, fear of losing control, fear of what we anticipate might happen, fear of experiencing the thing that we experienced in the past or we observed. And it's like, well, I have so much fear of this happening again that I feel I have the choice right now to choose it not to happen. It's like, no, we can't choose not for a tower to happen. A tower is in the divine's hands. We can lose everything like this through some hurricane or through an act of God or through divine intervention. We can have a perfect relationship and it go completely sideways, or we can have a sideways sort of difficult relationship and it be something that ends up being the right thing for us. And so the only choice to be made is, are we choosing in light and truth, or are we choosing out of fear and illusion? And that we can definitely see, because if we're choosing out of fear and illusion, it would sound like anticipation, resistance, avoidance, defensiveness, fear-based thinking, remembering the past, a need for control, attached to outcome. That's all fear-based decision. When we're open, when we're innocent, when we're vulnerable, when we allow the feeling to come forward, when we can express ourselves and we can give and receive in flow state without the need for control. Now we're in awareness. Now we're choosing light and love and truth. That takes great courage. It takes a lot of courage to allow oneself to be like that. That's where the strength is. And it's saying, can you have strength to face this moment with choice, to be open? If not, why not? Look at this 6 cup in reverse. Shine your light of awareness. There's some greater truth you're not seeing. The innocence wants to come through and be connected to. and be experienced. It's going to take great courage. Okay, the path to light. I make the conscious choice to move towards the light one step at a time. I transform my weakness into strengths. Again, this need for courage and facing the weakness that we're covering up with masculine energy. Okay, by mastering my thoughts, I overcome obstacles with positivity and acceptance. I develop my gifts and extend my light to every being unconditionally. So in the present moment, am I of light? Am I of truth? Am I transforming the fear I have right now into light? Am I facing what I need to with courage? Or do I keep sort of going back to dark thoughts? Dark thoughts, sad thoughts, disappointing thoughts, because that is where the light of awareness can come right here, right now. So your advice is, if I am in awareness, or was awareness? Awareness. If I am in awareness, which is this light, then I could see things as they are truly. But if I'm not in awareness, then I'm seeing things from the lens of what happened to me. And then I have a need to control. And then I have a need to do this or do that. And then it impacts my choices. And then I'm acting out of fear. And then I'm led away from the light. But when I'm in awareness with what is truly, I can make choices based on truth, based on courage. And then I'm on the path of light and strength. Okay, so I think you have a lot of thoughts that are sort of dictating your choices here. Guidance. In times of uncertainty, I ask God to guide me to the light in my being. I am directed to doors that will open inner freedom to me and step forward and trust. I release my faith to God and my faith is rewarded. So you're being asked to trust. Trust this experience. It feels like you're divinely guided. I do feel there is a real serene love on the other side of this thing, but it requires you to trust. Trust the universe, trust yourself. And like I said, I'm not saying that it's going to be a perfect experience here. We're never going to experience disappointment or loss, but it's like through this experience, I could see the illusion of loss. I work through my fear of loss or need for control because I could see the truth. And therefore, I won't need to control anymore, even if there's disappointment. Even if there's struggle, even if there's challenge, it's like I could see the truth. You're being guided to see the truth, but you have to open that door and allow yourself to experience what spirit wants you to experience. Okay? And that's true freedom, like I said, because we think we're free here. I'm free to control. I'm free to be empowered. I'm free to dictate where it goes. It's like, no, you're not. That's an illusion. Okay? Peace. So we had this tension. This is the opposite. I am unwavering in the face of fear. I come to my senses and embrace challenge. I am determined to think with gentleness and calm. I find inner silence and become a manifestation of peace. So we have to not listen to the fear talking if we want to move in light. Now, of course, you can listen to the fear if you think that it's giving you some form of illusion of control. But that creates tension. That creates a limiting experience. That creates more things to control. That's not in truth. That's in ego. That's in fear and that's in shadow. And so it's saying in this experience, you have an ability to be guided into the light. You have an experience to be sitting in what true peace and freedom looks like. But it is requiring you to have the courage to sit with spirit, trust spirit. You have that choice, free will to do so. And allow yourself to be guided, even if it feels fearful, even if inside of you, your thoughts saying, oh no, I'm going to experience lack. I'm going to experience terror. I'm going to experience betrayal. I'm going to experience disappointment. This is all the mind from the Six of Cups in reverse. It's not true that even if you do experience that experience, it's the truth behind it. There is no lack. Nobody could take anything from you. There is nothing that's going to be missing. You don't then become out of control and have no control. You always have control because you are the light behind this experience. And once you connect to that, which is true, then you'll see the truth and nobody can impact this beautiful light, this beautiful freedom. It's there forever, forever, regardless of what this form is experiencing. One day we experience lack in the form. And one day we experience abundance in the form, but in the light, it's always abundance. It's always infinite. There is no scarcity in the light, in the truth, in the awareness of truth. Okay? Pile number 2, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye. pile number 3, you guys picked the Storyteller's Tarot. And we're looking at guidance in your current relationship, advice for you and the person on your mind here, okay? So this could be any type of relationship, although like I did state at the beginning of this video, I do read for a lot of romantic relationships, so you can definitely remove that sort of aspect if this is just guidance in a sort of more regular relationship, if you will, okay? But I do intend on this being your guidance and your advice on how to heal or move beyond maybe certain obstacles or challenges you could be experiencing in a relationship. So let's connect with Spirit and ask how you'll know this is your pile. How will pile number 3 know that this is their relationship or their pile? Can we get some guidance in their current relationship experience with the person they came here about? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Please protect me and the viewer and this connection as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Pile 3, I'd like to thank your higher self, spirit team, spirit guides, ancestors, interdimensional beings for this active divination. Thank you so, so much. Please help me to channel in a way that pile number 3 will understand what is being communicated. How will they know that this is their pile, their reading, Spirit? And we'll pull from 2 oracle decks for you for pile number 3. How will pile 3 know that this is indeed their pile, their connection? And one more. What is the guidance they're needing to hear about their connection, their experience with the relationship they came here about at this time, Spirit? Okay, let's start with your oracles. We have the moon in Uranus with 17. So we have Aquarius energy, very strong, some Cancer energy. Also some Leos coming through, okay? And then we have fusion, blend into each other, intimate union, unification, communication, self-forgetfulness, reciprocal dependence. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself with the solar plexus. And number 9, Cancer energy, more moon energy here, and some Virgo. More Leo I'm feeling with the yellow as well. Relationship trap, stress level, 72 and 9. Okay, and then we have the green ray, which is the heart chakra, 7. More Cancer energy. Strong Cancer coming through this reading. Okay, fundamental injury, stress level, suffering, misfortune, hardship, sadness, pain, distress, and nightmare. Type 7, enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. Show you the picture. These 2 people are, it's called fusion. Okay. I don't know if I can show that. Probably. I'll be a rebel. Okay, so we have the 9 of Cups. Wow, look at the genie's lantern. Under 9 Cups, we have Judgment in reverse. Okay. We'll see the card that went flying at the end. Okay, and then we have the 10 of Pentacles. And we have the Fool, Aquarius energy. Strong Aquarius Cancer coming through this reading. And then we have the 5 of Pentacles. And then we have the Knight of Cups. Okay. And then we have the 7 of Cups. Look at the Irish. It's leprechaun shoes. And then we have the 2 of Cups. Oh my goodness, you guys. The card that went flying over here was the Knight of Coins in the reverse, which is the Knight of Pentacles. And under the Judgment, we have the Page of Pentacles in the upright. Okay, just give me a moment to channel what this is about here, pile number 3, and see what we're getting here. The moon in Uranus. Let me just, read what it says here. 17. It says, conjunct sextile trinus is in the primitive state. Its unhealed attachment wounds make it emotionally abrasive and rebellious. Adaptive state, you personify emotional freedom of self-expression. And evolving, you teach others how to be unafraid of powerful emotions and to embrace change. Wow. In conjunct opposition square, primitive, your emotions trigger erratic and disruptive behavior. Adaptive, your emotions drive innovative creation. And in evolving state, your true originality inspires others to let their feelings be what they are and be expressed and acted out with integrity, even feelings that are unique, unusual, or otherwise non-conforming. Okay, wow, yes, it confirms exactly what was coming through as I was laying your cards. Beautiful. Just give me a second and drop the card. Okay, let me sit here with this. Look at this fool, he's riding the donkey backwards. Aquarius energy. Okay, pile number 3. This is a very lovely reading. Okay, it doesn't mean that we haven't experienced a lot of suffering, that it's not real, that it's not deep, and all of this stuff, but it feels lovely here, and I'll explain why. Okay, but first, let's just do the signs again in case you skipped ahead here. We have Aquarius and Cancer very strong in this pile. Yes. Okay. A little bit of Leo. Yeah. And this is the energy that's helping me to channel this reading. So I feel like this is beautiful because I feel 2 energies here. This feels like a very beautiful connection where I feel both people are really learning about themselves. And so this connection can really pose very intense feelings. So intense that it's like we could be questioning so much about the other, ourselves. It's like it's really shifting our whole understanding here at a very deep fundamental level, because I feel like this experience is really learning about the truth of divine nature. And it is all about we are one, unification, and even this fusion. Okay, I'm seeing fusion as one state of consciousness. Okay, the intimate union, it's like the oneness, self-forgetfulness. It's like I am you, you are me, therefore there's no sort of boundary here unless we're focused on form or think we're the form. And so the form creates the tension. Okay, hopefully I'm not losing you guys, but it's like if I believe I'm the body and I'm the form and I'm the action itself and the experience, and then there could be tension because we both believe we're the form. Okay, but when we rise above, we're this beautiful understanding of consciousness, that we are one, that we're connected to oneness through the heart, which is where the door opens, okay, to heart consciousness, which is I am connected to all that is, including you, and I've reached this understanding. Then I could see beyond suffering. I could see beyond separation. Okay, but to get to this process, we have to go through a period of suffering, because what falls away? The egoic belief, the belief in separation. So this whole connection feels to be a tower. Okay, a tower. I'm seeing 7-7 here, which, by the way, 77 is trust the fall, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom, trust of life, trust of self. So I'm feeling, even from this Uranus, this connection seems to be a catalyst to an awakening of the true self in both of these people. Okay, you and your person, because I'm feeling it on both sides. And so there's a truth that's being called to see, that sits in the heart, that's about our oneness to each other, to one with all that is, not just each other, but it's like through each other, through this love, through this experience, which, by the way, could come with a lot of suffering and a lot of illusions being dispelled. So this is this tower energy. A lot comes tumbling down, beliefs, wounds, whatever it is that sort of gets in the way of this beautiful love that wants to manifest here on earth. So this is a conscious love that wants to manifest. but comes with a whole bunch of stuff. Now, what does this mean? This means that this connection in the 3D could have periods of time where it is not coming together in the 3D, stuck. Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. It's like, why and how come this beautiful union, this beautiful love, this beautiful connecting to the truth is manifesting as something here that isn't producing? And Spirit is talking about this 3D experience doesn't determine or dictate anything that's happening outside the 3D of the 5D. Now, this doesn't mean we can only be happy in 5D and 3D is going to be suffering, separation. It's saying in order for there to be clearly seeing beyond the veil that we are not this body, that the manifestations come and go and they're temporary, so they're impermanent. And to see the truth of who we are, which is this oneness, this ultimate union, we have to go through the experience of seeing beyond the veil. And now, Spirit is saying for this connection, there's a need for you to trust in the divine, okay? It could be very hard to do, specifically at the beginning, when nothing is tangible. I can't see, feel, touch, sense, all the 5 senses, that in which is this connection. It's infuriating, and it's also sort of this paradoxical thing where it's like, is it real? Is this happening? Is what I'm experiencing true? It's like, yes, it's true in a 5D sense. It's truer than in a 3D sense. However, we're used to the 3D mirroring that in which we use the 5 senses to validate. So it's saying, trust the journey, no matter how backwards it might seem, or no matter how it might even feel like it's like, we're going against what we know, because what we know is that which was programmed. And we could really literally feel very foolish. We could feel all sorts of ways, but it's not about the feel so much as it is understanding that our level of consciousness is going to dictate what sort of feelings are pulled. So we could feel a lot of confusion. We could feel a lot of suffering. We could feel all sorts of ways when we're used to some sort of programming. And so Spirit says, we could either be very stubborn here with this donkey, okay, stubborn, and go with that stubborn program and get the results we've always sort of gotten. Or we can rise above that program, which is now letting go and not being stubborn and being like this fool to experience what it is that Spirit's asking you to experience here, which is trusting the divine. But we could literally be seeing the polarity here. 5 Pentacles is the opposite of a 10 Pentacle, complete opposite. And they're both talking about the practical world. Here, I have nothing. I'm in scarcity and lack. I'm without. I see this as missing something or a loss of something. And here is in the 3D, building the legacy, the empire, thing that could stand the test of time. It is all abundance. It has more than enough to sustain itself. So these are 2 opposite things, but they're both in the 3D and both exist in the 3D for sure. And when we think that we are the form, then yes, we can experience loss for sure. Loss is experienced in the form only. You can't experience loss from a state of oneness, from a state of union, from a state of a greater understanding of consciousness. When we come from a heart-based consciousness, we know that there's no such thing as loss, separation, loneliness, lack, okay, rejection. We can't experience that. And so Spirit wants you to experience what it's like to have this transcendental sort of love that goes beyond this 3D. Okay, but this isn't saying just experience that, but in the 3D you'll have nothing and see it as abundance. But it's saying you will experience both, because that's what the 3D always is. It's both. It's sometimes we have the manifestation and sometimes we don't, because it's impermanent, like I always say. And so there is this, sometimes we can experience the joy of the 3D because we feel and touch it and see it, but that doesn't mean the joy now is stripped because now we have a 5 Pentacle. And if we believe that we're at this level of consciousness, we'll forever be swinging on the pendulum. Now I'm happy, now I'm sad, now I'm without, I'm disappointed, I'm rejected, and now I'm feeling, and Spirit's saying, we're going to resolve this seesaw And we're not going to resolve it by saying we're not of this world. We're detached. But it's saying the detachment comes from knowing that we're not attached to the form. We're not attached to that in which fluctuates. We're more than that. Yes, the form is a part of it. Yes, our mind, body, and our five senses is a part of it. But bigger piece of the pie, the more massive pull here is what stands behind. And when we connect to that, which is true, which is unwavering, and then when the 5 pentacle and the 10 pentacle are sort of at odds and going with the tides of the universe here. Okay, the universe meaning the manifesting universe, the 3D universe. It doesn't fluctuate our sense of self. It doesn't create suffering. It doesn't create this understanding of lack and whatever it is we are experiencing when we go through periods of 5 pentacle. So I feel like you're learning, and same with your person, but I'm going to stick to you. You're learning about an understanding of abundance that transcends this 3D material plane, that things come and go, things manifest and come in and out of existence. Happiness cannot rely on what you're seeing with your 5 senses when you connect to that which is true. And in the present moment, which, by the way, usually the present moment, there's no lack, because what you're experiencing and seeing sort of right in front of you is abundance. If we connect to it, we see it. Okay. And then we can engage differently when we're experiencing this sort of 5 pentacle, 10 pentacle sort of experience. And spirit wants you to trust it, because we might feel like this guy riding backwards on the donkey, like it's backwards from what I know. And it's all sorts of things that the ego might want us to think and believe, you know? And we could be very stubborn and say, no, I'm going to go with the thought that I had. It's like, okay, but we're just going to go in the direction that we've always stubbornly sort of believed or thought foolishly. And spirit is saying, no, we might have to do something different here. Trust. Okay, so I do feel like there is a lot of love from both sides here. Okay, and the fact that we have this helmet, which I feel is highlighting something about the crown chakra and the third eye, is really giving to me this higher level state of love that's created an awakening of sorts, that's opened up this crown chakra. So now we're connected to the divine love, universal love, one state of consciousness or oneness. Okay, so it transcends this 3D. And I feel like both parties have been catalyzed into this sort of awakening that's really liberating and free, because now we see beyond the limitation. Now we see beyond the lack here. Okay, but this could be very, quite the experience, you know? It could be quite the experience to sort of understand what it's trying to show us. But it is all about liberating oneself. It is about connecting to a greater sense of divine. And it will have experiences in the 3D that might feel very stuck or very temperamental. Coming, going. It might appear to be lack, but it's like, do you see lack or do you see abundance? Do you see what's in the 3D, or can you use your third eye to see beyond that in which you're experiencing in the 3D? So I feel like there is this with the 7 cups and this 2 of hearts. This is 7 cups, 2 cups. 7 cups is fantasy, daydreaming, confusion. It's like all sort of seemingly like a possibility here. And I feel like when we go through this experience, so we could be dipping our toes in both worlds, the 3D, 5D, 3D, 5D. One feels like it might be more real at times. And then at other times it's like, but there's a greater truth that transcends beyond this thing. And so now I'm confused. Now I don't know. Is this just a fantasy? Is this a dream? It's creating all sorts of 7 cup energy. Okay, but I feel like what spirit is talking about is here to experience a union with the 2 cups. This is all about union, intimate union, blending to each other. There has to be a going through the journey, a going through the experience. In order for there to be an understanding of what a true union looks like, a giving and receiving between 2 people, we might start off in a state of separation. It's 2 separate peoples. And this fusion is like we connect through the divine nature. We connect through that which is above the state of consciousness in order for us to come together. So the union talks about two souls coming together to connect. Okay, and I do feel like what Spirit is talking about is there being an opportunity here for sure in the 3D with this Page of Cups. But this only comes when we are awakened to the truth. And when we awake to the truth of what our divine nature is, it only can impact our own world with this 9 cups. We cannot impose or impede what other people are sort of experiencing or be something that can for sure create outcome within other people. But all we can do is sort of sit with our own energy, connect to that which is true, and sit with this 9 cup energy of self, regardless of whatever is sort of being reflected to us in the 3D. And when we reach this beautiful state, the Spirit is saying your wish comes true. Okay, 7 cups I feel is like our fantasy and our wish. This genie bottle is like rub this and get our wish. I feel like this is saying trust in Spirit. And I feel like Spirit is really talking about everything that's going to unfold in this connection is very divine. It's divine and it's Spirit's will. Now, we could still make decisions, of course, whether we want to engage, not engage, because we have free will, but Spirit has a divine unfolding here that's coming through, and it's saying the more we are allowing ourselves to receive the guidance of the universe, connect to that which is true, see beyond the veil, connect to greater states of oneness and consciousness, move beyond suffering and lack, see beyond the superficial 3D. Once we can see it, then we've truly connected to that in which Spirit wants you to see. Then the wish, the dream, the thing can come true, whatever it is you are wanting and wishing, because then you could see clearly. Do you want this connection? Maybe not. And maybe you want some other connection. Maybe you want whatever it is that you're going to wish for, but you can't wish for the thing when you don't see clearly, or when you're still believing you're the body or the lack or the suffering or the disappointment or the stuckness or the thing that you're like, because if Spirit was to give you this genie bottle or whatever and say, what do you want? You might say, I want it to move. I want it to manifest. I want it. And then Spirit says, okay, but it's like almost a waste of a wish, because it's like what you're experiencing is a 5 pentacles. Like, okay, it's 10 pentacle for a time being, but it's still a lower state of consciousness. It still hasn't resolved a greater awareness of truth, because that in which Spirit wants to give you transcends above 3D. It transcends above this form loss, this separation, this 3D body and mind. It rises above there, and you see a greater, deeper truth. And then your wishes will be a lot more different, more aligned with your own self here, not from a selfish place, but from knowing truly what makes one emotionally happy. What's going to make you truly emotionally happy? Spirit saying, you don't know yet. You haven't seen the full picture yet. Trust me to see the full picture. You're going to be receiving a lot of guidance from the universe. And it's coming through the heart space, because the Knight of Hearts, but also through the divine. And so the heart and the mind must sort of unify. Okay, so this isn't saying the mind is bad and only the heart. It's saying the mind comes through the heart. And once we have a greater sense of understanding, instead of firing off these thoughts that just sort of come from suffering, from the mind body of the form, it comes from a greater sense of tapping into the heart, which is true love. And then you're able to make decisions and see clearly, and then really sort of wish upon the universe what it is you're wanting to experience and see, because you can manifest this, but you can't manifest this thing when we don't see the big picture, when we don't connect to that which all that is. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of it being guided by the intuition, which could seem kind of confusing. Okay, even with this moon and even 7 cups. Confusion, things might not be as they appear. There's a deeper sense of unknowing. It's coming from divine, so we might be getting dreams, synchronicities, signs, a greater sense of connecting. Okay, but it could be that we're feeling like maybe not on the same page, and we're still sort of trying to make a 10 pentacle out of what we think is experiencing a 5 pentacle, and we're really focused on this. It's like rise above this need to create a 10 pentacle from a lack story or from a 5. And don't get focused on the pentacle so much. It's saying, are you connected to that which is real? And so I feel like there is a truth that's happening on both sides here, okay? We have reciprocal dependence. And so I feel like both sides of this story have some form of understanding where this connection could be really reflecting this. There might be a dependency on both sides, why each side sort of needs the other side to reflect some sort of truth of love, truth of self, a truth of like why they sort of believe in some sort of suffering story of lack, rejection, disappointment. Okay, and it's like we're making us see beyond that illusion of lack. But of course, pain happens. Of course, 5 pentacle happens in the 3D. And it's saying when pain happens, when 5 pentacle happens, when there's a loss, appeared loss in the form, what does that mean? And how does that impact the truer sense of the essence? It doesn't. And so we're having to see these sort of comings and goings, manifestations of peaks and valleys. Okay, 10 pentacle, 5 pentacle, and as they come. And how does it impact our relationship to it? Here comes pain. Like I would say, the flat tire happens. The breakup happens to everybody. There's nothing we can control about that. But it's the suffering that Spirit's trying to heal. Do I sit there looking at the flat tire, totally depleted, crying, feeling helpless, hopeless, or do I fix the flat tire or do what I can and continue on my day? The breakup. Do I see it as an emotional expression of something that I can process as an experience? Or is it writing on the slate of who I think I am? I've lost a piece of me. I can never be the same. Okay, so let's ask Spirit for guidance for pile number 3. What is the guidance and the advice? What can pile 3 do in this situation, this connection, this understanding that they have? What are they being called to do? I feel like you're just being called to experience what is in the present moment, and then more will be revealed to you. Trust in the intuition, trust in something greater than this body and this experience. So we have frankincense, enlightened, beautiful. Trigger statement, I am alone. That's this 5 pentacle. That's thinking that we're separate, lack and loss. Okay. And then the true statement, it is, I am one with all that is. Exactly what I just finished channeling. You are one state of consciousness. You and this person are already one. There is no lack, there is no loss. But when we feel like we're the form, then we create the limitation. Okay, so you are already one with all that is, including the divine. This is enlightenment. Okay, dear child, you are safe and loved as you continue on your journey of self-exploration. Remember what I said? It's all about the self. Not about how I can heal this person or get this person to see or get them to shift or change or have them to build a 10 pentacle with me or whether it's moving or not moving, that sort of a thing. This is all about my own self-exploration. What makes me happy? What can I connect with? Knowing the truth that we are all one, seeing it, feeling it, connecting to it, and then my choices will be different. I will see different. I won't see loss. I might see the pain, but I won't sit in suffering. I might see the disappointment, but I won't take that as some sort of loss or lack or existing state that I can't get out of. Okay? So we have the Douglas fir with resolution. The trigger statement, the past haunts me. The true statement, in this moment, I am free. Let yourself be the one to heal the wounds passed down from your ancestors and release and growth. The release and growth begins with you. You again. So I feel like this is much bigger. This is like healing the belief in separation consciousness. The belief that we have as society. So this is collective healing. It's the belief in one state of consciousness. It's the enlightened self that we all carry that is distorted because we have beliefs that we are identified as the body or the form, that there is rejection, there's lack. So this past is the veil of the experience that creates this illusion of separation. But of course, separation doesn't exist outside of the form. there is this enlightened state. And when we connect to all that is, we know that we're one with the divine. We know that when we look at other, we're already connected. There is no heavy feeling of suffering. Okay, so it's trying to get you to see through separation at the end of the day. Wow, enlightening again, you guys. Enlightened, enlightening. Arise. The trigger statement. There has to be more than this. The true statement, I create my world. You are ready for a higher level of awareness and transformation. Beautiful. So it's your time. Spirit wants you to see the truth, you know? There's more than just this 3D, the 5 senses. We've been living in the 3D. What I see, what I experience, is that all there is? It's like, no, there's a greater understanding of divine essence and consciousness and awareness. And this ascension process will help you to tap into oneness. And not everybody is able to connect with that oneness unless they are sort of catalyzed. And I feel like this connection's catalyzed you into this awakening of all that is. It's waking you up to the truth of your divine nature. That's what this connection is doing. Now, like I said, the mystery of the 3D was there is an opportunity. Spirit is saying to trust. It is saying you're getting your wishes. It is saying that there's a union here. But it's requiring you to really connect to the divine truth of your self. That's the first and foremost thing here. And not looking outside of how it's stuck or where it's going or that sort of a thing. Okay, that means we're attached to outcome. If we start looking at it from that lens, it's saying use the lens of awareness, use the lens of a greater sense of understanding that we are, consciousness itself. Okay, so sandalwood awareness. Oh my God, you guys, look at how many cards of awareness and enlightenment you got. Okay, so the trigger statement, I never get what I want. So again, I think I'm the form, 5 pentacle, it's stuck. That's a lower state of vibration consciousness. But when we rise to a greater sense of consciousness and awareness, then we say, I am a powerful creator. I create my world. All about how you manifest your energy. Okay, listen to your inner voice. Release your ideas of the outcome you wish to see and trust that you are aligned with the universe. So again, if you're attached to outcome, what I'm seeing in the pentacle realm, and then it doesn't happen, and all you see is 5 pentacle, and all you see is stuck, and we're not building babies or a home, and we're not building a world, this person is removed. It's like, no, now we're focused on the wrong sort of way. Okay, now I say wrong only because it's misaligned. It's a lower state consciousness. Yes, we can believe that, but it keeps us small, it keeps us limited, it keeps us going down with the donkey, stubborn way of seeing something. And it's saying, can we rise above? Are we actually aware of the truth? Can we see what is actually true here that transcends beyond this body-mind? That's actually this ultimate fusion of consciousness, this greater source, because this is where you and this person are connected. I want you to see this. Not just so you can see it and then nothing happened. It's so you can see it and things change and morph. It's so you can see the divine truth. It's being given to you, gifted to you. It's really beautiful, okay? Then this opportunity for you to create something in the 3D is very real. You will manifest your wishes. It wants you to be a conscious manifester of your wishes, okay? Like a magician of your wishes. But you can't consciously manifest if you're not in an upright judgment, because we believe distortion, we believe in lack, we believe in I am alone, I am separate, I am 5 pentacle, it's not moving, I am in the suffering, I am the sufferer. No, well, that's not true. It's limited. Okay, so we have cleansing, purification. Wow, trigger statements. Their opinion matters to me. True statement. I see things in a new way. Yes. As you release external influences and energy, you will become clear with regard to what is needed. So you're being purified of this human sort of thought, this I am form, this limited 3D understanding. This is being purified. We're releasing concepts. We're releasing maybe, social constructs, understandings that have been given to us, beliefs that are getting in the way of us seeing things completely different in a new way. Remember I said this is like, we might have to see things completely different and feel sort of weird or out of the norm, or like it doesn't make sense. Like, why is he sitting backwards here? Like it's spirit's asking you to do something that might not make a whole lot of sense, you know? But when we trust the spirit, then we know that what's for me is going to manifest. What's for me is not going to pass me by. I see a greater truth because I can connect to the truth of all that is and rise above this thing and heal this thing with purification, because I could see it clearly, see through the illusion. Okay, so we have geranium, nurturing. Trigger statement, I am all in my head. The true statement, I create with pleasure. There's lots about creating here, okay? Creation is the 3D manifest. So I feel like you are manifesting something for sure. And so it's like, where is your energy? Because that's where the manifestation is going to come from. If I believe in lack, if I'm in my mind about limiting thoughts, and it's really restricted, then I manifest from that lower vibration of lower state of consciousness. But if I know that 3D is fluctuating and I'm not tied to the form, and that I am from a higher state of consciousness, and I can manifest from that higher vibration, then I manifest completely different. And now you're going to entertain this opportunity way different, rather than seeing the lack and the stuckness and the suffering and the pain and the sadness and the loss story. Okay, so take time to rest, and in that time, be open to creative pursuits. Surround yourself with things that please your senses and be gentle with yourself. So I feel like at this point in time in this connection, there's something that's not quite aligned, for sure, in the 3D. In the 5D, there's alignment. Whether you connect to it yet or see it yet, you're on your way to understanding unification, oneness, heart consciousness, whatever you want to call it, one state of consciousness, okay? And in order to get that, we have to remove what is false. False is limitation, lack, separation, consciousness, 3D consciousness only, and that's it. And there's nothing outside of that. And what is real is what I can touch, feel, and sense. It's like, no, there's other real things here. And so what Spirit wants you to do is, in this present moment, what you can do is focus on what's in front of you. Because what's in front of you, I guarantee you, isn't pain, isn't lack, it isn't suffering. What's in front of you is something to sit with, to embrace, to love, to create with what is in front of you. And the more you create, because that is our nature, here the 3D, it's to create, create, create. You will shift the energy here as the creator in order for there to be a shift here in this connection. The more you create, the more you will see. Okay, the more you will see this truth. But the more we're sort of lower vibration, the more we're sort of seeing what it is that we don't want to experience. And so it's saying the truth is out there. The awareness is there for you to see. Enlightenment's there for you to experience. You know, for you to really go down this path of seeing greater awareness, for you to ascend, for you to rise, for you to sit with a greater state of understanding. It's there for you to experience. But you're the magician. You have to shift things. You have to understand when your thought is sort of stuck in the past or old way of thinking. Tickle in my throat. An old way of thinking that will dictate what you say and do, that isn't necessarily the truth. And so I feel like there's a need to reflect from the state of awareness. And the doing or the creating, because there is no doing, because if we're starting to do when we don't have full awareness, when we're starting to react, when we say things or make decisions that are coming from our level of awareness. So it's a smaller state of consciousness. Consciousness could be at all sorts of levels. There could be completely unconscious, somewhat conscious, a little bit more conscious, completely seeing, what it is that's sort of freeing us from suffering. Who knows where the ultimate state of enlightenment is, of course, because it is a journey. Only the divine knows the ultimate sort of truth. Okay, but we can align greater and greater and greater with a greater sense of consciousness, which is more aligned with truth. And it's saying, are you aware of what is true? Are you aligned with that in which is true? Or are you still sort of distorted with your beliefs? Do you have some level of consciousness, but there's still some belief in lack, separation? Because if there is any suffering, if there is any feeling of rejection, loneliness, lack, disappointment, then we still believe in separation. And it's saying through the awareness, which is really observing, seeing what's going on here, seeing through our own distortion and our illusion. And once we sort of see it, then we can create different, because it's like, I see different, my choices are different. I could see the distortion. I'm not going to react on the pain or the suffering or piggyback on that lost thought or that thought that keeps haunting me or telling me that I'm alone, I'm separate, I'm lonely, it's not happening, I'm Five Pentacle, I'm without, this is this and this is that. No, we're going to break out of this, and we're going to be empowered by the truth. Not illusion, not distortion, not wishful thinking, not the form pretending to know something greater and cross his fingers and his toes and hope and pray that we come together. Because if we're hoping and praying that we come together, then we still don't know the higher state of consciousness. That prayer isn't wishing for something that already exists. You're already together. So Spirit doesn't listen to any sort of prayers, like I say, that come from illusion. Spirit knows what's illusion and what's truth. So if we're praying from illusion, from ego, from lack, Spirit doesn't even hear that because it's not even true. And like I say, Jesus says you pray for it and know that it is already yours. Because there is no need to pray for something that's already yours. But we're believing in some sort of separation or lack. So it would be, Spirit, help me to see the truth. That I'm now trying to be aware of where I'm maybe seeing lack, maybe seeing loss, maybe seeing stuckness, maybe seeing separation, maybe understanding rejection or some sort of abandonment or some sort of thing that doesn't make me feel good. I know it's not true, but I believe it somewhere because I feel this way. Meet yourself where you're at, and Spirit will say to you, okay, let me show you. Let me show you, but you must trust me to show you. You must surrender. You must allow what I'm going to show you to reveal to you. Don't clutch. Don't try to make decisions when you're fully not in the awareness, because what you will decide and what you will do will be reacting to the illusion, and you'll perpetuate more illusion, more distortion, more separation, more belief in that. And it's saying, I want to show you the truth. All is one. I want you to create in this present moment from a new way. Create a new world, create from a place of abundance. Then you'll create happiness and harmony. Then there could be a union and a coming together. Then there's opportunity in the 3D for you to create something beautiful. But until then, the Spirit is saying you're going to experience this as an up, down, a loss, or a situation that might feel very stuck, not growing, not building. It's like you're already connected in the other worlds. Okay, so the tower's falling. The universe is involved with this energy here, because I do feel like there is movement happening, shifting all the time, whether we're seeing it in the 3D or not. And it's aligning you with truth. And it's working through egoic beliefs. And it's detaching you from believing that you are form. And it's allowing you to see a greater level of consciousness when it comes to love, truth, abundance, alignment, rising above this understanding, is so that you know that you're the master creator here, that you can have what it is that you're wanting once you can manifest it. But you have to be conscious. You have to see the light. So Spirit's saying, I will show you the light. I will show you the light, but you have to be willing to see the light. You can't be distorted and clinging on to what you think is right, or stubbornness or ideas of things because your hands are clenched. You're too blind. It's like, let go. Let me show you. Be open to what I want to show you. Okay, even if it feels uncomfortable, trust. And it only feels uncomfortable because we're used to a certain thing. So it might feel very much out of our norm, but it's like, trust me, trust me, trust me. Okay, it's beautiful energy, pile number 3. And I do feel like your person is going through a similar sort of awakening, if you will. Okay, so let's pull from these cards the guidance and advice for pile number 3 to close out this reading. What does pile number 3 need to know in regards to guidance and advice? Practical guidance and advice. What can they do? How can they shift their energy? What more are they needing to know at this time? Guidance and advice for this connection. Pile number 3. Okay, is there one more? Okay, there's one more. What is the guidance? Okay. Goodness. Oh my goodness. Beautiful. I refine my character and overcome difficulties by remaining positive. I calm my heart and illuminate my intellect to transform shadow into light. I consciously manifest goodness in and around me. I improve my qualities for the benefit of all. So I feel like you're manifesting this beautiful love connection. Okay, but not because you're attached to the outcome of what it'll look like, but through your belief in something greater, you can manifest a beautiful connection. Okay, but it's like this beautiful green ray, which is giving me heart consciousness. It's like it must be manifested from the heart, not from lack, not from thought, not from distortion, not from any sort of negative mind speak. Okay, so this is the transmutation from shadow into light, from fear to truth, from a distorted belief, which is the shadow, to that which is true, which is the light. Okay, peace, beautiful. So it says, I am unwavering in the face of fear. I come to my senses and embrace challenge. I am determined to think with gentleness and calm. I find inner silence and become a manifestation of peace. So there's lots here about peace and calm. You know, so it's like I'm not clinging, I'm not forcing, I'm not attaching, I'm not like looking at things from the lack mindset. I'm looking at it from surrendering to the divine, giving it up to spirit, knowing that whatever unfolds is for my greatest good, that I am already whole and complete, that from this place of love, nothing bad can manifest. Nothing bad can manifest from this place of love. Now, when I say bad, it could seem something that seems threatening or misaligned, but really when it's connected to that which is the truth, there's nothing bad. There's nothing here that can sort of take away from the truth. All right, so we have transformation. I am constantly evolving. I improve inwardly by working on my weaknesses and refining my strengths. Life ensures I am presented with situations that will help me learn and grow. I am aware of my progress and open my wings to the light. So this is all about your ascension at the end of the day. Not about this person, not about anything other than your own growth and transformation. Working through your shadow, working with the present moment. Now this talks about your strengths and your weakness. I don't really see it as weakness and strength so much as it is the thing that could be a weakness is the distortion, the belief of lack, believing the lie, believing the limitation, but it's not true. So there is no weakness. There is just the truth, and that's the strength. The strength is the truth because it holds all power. Now, of course, we can give the power to the weakness, but if we don't believe in the lie, if we don't believe the limiting thought, then nothing can steal power from the truth because the truth is where the ultimate strength lies, okay? So I feel like you're really transforming and transmuting energy and beautiful green ray, which is all about the heart chakra. Yeah, unconditional love, heart chakra. My heart is free from resentment towards others. So what's resentment? I can't forgive. I'm seeing disappointment. I'm seeing the lack. I'm seeing them as separate. That is resentment, separate. They're other and I'm here. There's a division between us. That's not unconditional. It's like seeing the light behind them, seeing myself in them. I can now connect to unconditional love. Okay, this doesn't mean unconditionally accepting abuse or settling for disappointing situations. This is like just being able to sit with that which is love and see it and recognize it in other allows me to connect to that which is transcendental, which is this unification, this intimate union of two, this blend into each other because you and this person are one. You and all that is one. Okay, I open the eyes of my heart and discover the light and beauty in every being. I am aware that suffering can cause distress and hurt in people. I see the pure child in everyone and practice forgiveness. Yes, so only through the release of resentment, which is this forgiveness, can we open the heart to that which is true, okay? Because when we truly connect to the light behind what the form did. The form blocked me. The form swart me. The form is acting this way and that way. Well, guess what? This person isn't their form, and neither are you. And yes, their ego could have said something. Their form could have done whatever. But when we truly connect to the light of the divine union here, there is nothing really to let go of or forgive. And we can move beyond that. It's the ego that wants to hang on to that sort of anger, that need to validate something, that then we know we're an ego. Okay, unconditional love. So wisdom. God has a plan for me. I live here now, knowing beauty is to come. I don't force things to happen faster than the universe has decided for me. I learn from my experiences, take small steps in faith, and succeed thanks to all my efforts. So I really feel Spirit's giving you an assurance here. Take the steps to learn the wisdom of the heart. The wisdom of the heart knows no boundaries. Do all that you can do to learn about unconditional love. This might be a journey of experiencing things that feel weird. We might think unconditional love means I got to forgive this person and accept their mean ways or their immature ways, and then I feel sad more, and then I feel lost more, and then I feel, and it's like, no, we got to go there and learn what it actually is to unconditionally love, to see beyond one's form, one's ego, one's threats, however we're seeing it, and rise above it. And when we connect to that, which is truly love, which is I could see beyond the ego, and I could connect to that, which that person has and everybody has, because I could see oneness, I could see beyond the limiting thoughts. And then I've learned the lesson, I have the wisdom, and Spirit says, then you will manifest a beautiful new opportunity here for you. You're being encouraged to take steps towards this wisdom through going through experience, not resistance, not force, not attaching to outcome, not fueling misbeliefs of lack, separation, negative mind speak, and saying it's true because I feel it. It's like, what is true in this moment? What's in this present moment? What can I surrender? Accepting the present moment as it is the greatest way to show unconditional love. In this moment, am I resisting something? Am I wishing it to be different? Or I'm accepting what is in this moment. And then I know I'm in flow. If we resist, if we try to change it, if we force it, if we're trying to do anything at all other than allow the present moment to fold and allow the truth of what comes through, not from the pain body or the distortion or the lack or the negative self-speak, but the true core, once we connect to it. What is it saying? Am I open to hear it? Because the more we get through the distortion, the more we know what to say and do, because it comes from the purest place of self. It's no longer driven from the ego. I need to be right. I need to prove oneself. Clinging to that because I feel lack. I'm going to attach to that, in which makes me feel like I need control. All of that stuff is not from the heart. It's not from God. That's from ego and devil and shadow and distortion, fear, and everything I've experienced that makes me believe in a lack story. This is much more above this, okay? This is talking about the truth of the divine. All that is cannot be tainted. There is no lack. There is no separation. There's unity consciousness, and how we get there is going through it, transforming every moment, present moment, one by one by one, until we sort of see this picture. It takes time. And allow ourselves to feel what we feel with patience and love, but it doesn't green light us to be reacting from wound or from trauma or from misbelief. Okay, so it's hard to explain these spiritual concepts on a tarot reading here, but I hope this is a way that we're connecting and understanding what is being explained to us. Okay, and maybe we're not there yet. But it's saying through this experience, you'll get there. Through this understanding, we'll see the greater truth. Through this understanding, we'll transmute some of the suffering, this understanding, so that we can reach a state of wisdom, unconditional love for all that is, including this connection. And then what is for you will come to you. Your manifestations, your wishes, your what you want will be there for you in the 3D. But this is needing to be worked through. You need to see and understand this thing. That's what Spirit wants for you. Not because Spirit is greedy, but because Spirit is saying the truth will set you free. The truth will be this wisdom. The truth is unconditional love. You'll know your true nature. You'll see it. You'll inner feel it. You'll be manifesting with it rather than manifesting in the dream world of separation, loss, lack, disappointment, highs and lows without loss and that belief that there is lack, because there isn't lack. So you're being awakened to the truth. Okay. Pile number 3, this is your reading. I hope this helped you put things into perspective. I love you very much. I do feel there's a beautiful union here as a result of a beautiful journey. Okay. So I'll see you at the next one. All right. Bye.